Here we are, another episode. And before we get a little further, I want to give a shout out to one of our listeners. It is Joe Thornhill, who I don't know how many people we have watching the entire podcast that we do, like full episodes from beginning to end. But I know that Joe Thornhill is one of them because he's been commenting on every one multiple times. So, Joe, if you listen, you're the true MVP. Thank you very much.
And thank you for making me
comments on the
fix
video.
my desk. I appreciate it. I listened to you and I fixed it just for you.
Yes, he did. He did.
He put some extra screws in and everything.
I did just for you, Joe.
But
All
yeah,
right.
he does, and he comments on. Well, he comments heavily on your Patreon and your other
On my
stuff.
Patreon, especially. Yes.
Fine.
Yes,
So
and he plays guitar, so double.
he's got a guitar in his picture too. Yeah. So we are reviewing Tombstone today, and this is my pick for the week. And I believe Craig has seen this before, right?
Yeah, I can't work out this. I'm trying to point your picture there. Sorry, straight above your head. Yes, I saw it a long time ago. So there you go. That you can do that. Yeah, saw it ages ago. And this was kind of a renaissance for in the early 90s for cowboy films. There was quite a few of them came out. But no, I definitely remembered this one. I remember Kurt Russell. That moustache you can't forget. As a kid, I knew Kurt Russell from all the 80s films where he was very enjoyable as a kid growing up. So totally recognized him. And now everyone watching it back is like, oh my God, how many faces do I recognize? It's like
so many.
It's like playing Guess Who from 80s, early 90s films. And
Literally.
Quentin, this was your first time, right?
First time, man. I've like heard the name Tombstone growing up my whole life. I think my grandpa, he was big into the Westerns. He still probably is, minus him being blind and deaf now. But I still feel like he just sits in front of that recliner and gives it his best shot. Great guy. Good sound and memory. Yeah, man, he just likes his Westerns. But I've always heard about Tombstone. I don't know why it took me so long to watch it. But one of the cool things about being on this channel is I get to watch a bunch of shit that I've missed out on throughout the years. So
yeah,
really awesome watch.
This was a big one in terms of it's I wouldn't say it was a massive hit when it came out, but over time it's just like it's one of those word of mouth things like, oh my God, you haven't seen Tombstone, you got to see
it's revered.
It's like the only Western movie I can truly name. Like Tombstone and True Grit is like the only Western movie I feel like I've ever even know the name to.
Okay, before we get a little bit further, Quentin, can you turn your mic down just a little bit?
Of course, yeah.
I feel like it's like
gotcha.
Super loud.
Let me see what I can do here.
Not,
microphone, condenser.
Not that bad for me, but
how do I turn it down in here? Settings.
Yeah.
Audio, but then it doesn't give me an option to turn it down.
It's probably because it's already engaged. All right. Well,
I could just back up a little bit and talk quieter.
That'll push the mic away. So either or. Maybe you could talk.
How about that? Is that a little bit better?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works.
Yeah, that works. Okay. Watch me listen back, and I'm the loudest one.
No, you're perfect, Brian.
I don't know. It's just out of my head. Like I hear Craig at like a regular level, and then when Quentin talks, it's like "Brr!" So I don't know.
I blame you.
I'm also wearing different headphones, so it could be that. But Tombstone came out in 1993, directed by George P. Cosmatos, which we can get into. This film had a lot of behind the scenes stuff where it was one of those movies that had a lot of issues behind the scenes. Lots of issues.
I thought Kurt Russell was the one who ended up actually directing it. Was that not it?
I mean, some people say that, some people don't. Nobody really knows. That's the thing. Nobody really knows.
Who's credited, like in the thing?
George P. Cosmatos is credited, but he was a guy who was brought in like a third of the way into shooting the movie.
Yeah.
So it's one of those kind of deals. Like the guy who was directing it originally was like fired a couple weeks after they already started shooting.
I don't really trust my research anymore, so I need to like do fact checking after I think last week or the week before then. that I was called out. But when I looked it up, it said 2 directors got fired, and it ended up ultimately being Kurt Russell. But this is a movie that you're very fond of, so I'm sure you know a little bit more.
The way I understand it is that George P. Cosmatos was hired to bring some order to the set and put his name on the director's title, but really it was Kurt Russell who was in charge of the story and everything.
Gotcha.
And he essentially directed a lot of it, but he did not want his name credited as a director because I guess he was scared that maybe if the film didn't work out, that he didn't want his name.
It might have been a little fuck up on his part.
I mean, you could argue that
it's not his career. I would like to jump in, make a co-executive decision. Brian, I think possibly is your headset. Just bring it a little bit more forward. For Quentin.
What do you mean?
Quentin is, to me, a lot quieter than you now. Well, not a lot, but he's a fair bit more quieter than you.
I can just move it up a little bit. Is that better?
Yeah. Quick test, Brian. Hi.
Hi.
Quentin.
Hi.
Yeah, cool. Right, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
There was just a little bit.
There were definitely no technical difficulties before we started this
absolutely
I know.
not.
None at all. Yeah.
We're really bad at this. By the way, we are shit movie reviewers. We have a terrible budget here. So, like, nothing works. I spent an hour and a half trying to fucking fix the headphones I usually put on. So we are terrible at this, but we try.
We love it.
We really do. We really do. And off camera, we talk about how much we love doing this. So
we like to share our shitty opinions with the 43 masses that watch us.
Yeah.
Honestly, we absolutely did not intend to start recording this about an hour and 48 minutes ago.
Yeah, definitely not. No, not
right. Yeah.
Absolutely not. No.
Because we just have so much fun off camera too.
Yeah. And then when we go on camera, we have to put on clothes. It's really weird. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh my God! Please put it away.
Every time you speak, all I hear is Michael Caine now.
You little fucking prick.
Put it away.
Now here's the thing. Here's the guess who for everyone out there that actually exists for one of these two. Which one is it? Answers in the comment below.
Yes, exactly. All right, so Tombstone, 1993. Dude, this is one of those times where oh my God, you read this cast list and you just go,
yes.
Holy shit. And you can't believe that this is actually a cast because it's just incredible.
Sometimes you don't recognize them as well.
Yeah.
You're going, I know that face.
Some of these people who are leads, like famous lead actors, are only in like one scene. Literally. In this movie. It's crazy. Let me just start reading some names here. All right, we got Kurt Russell, who is amazing in this. Michael Biehn, Powers Booth. I'm just going to keep going. Robert Burke, Sam Elliott, Bill Paxton, Stephen Lang, Dana Delaney, Billy Zane, Michael Rooker, Jason Priestley, Thomas Hayden Church. Who else we got? Joanna Pacula, John
Billy
Tenney.
Bob.
Charlton fucking Heston is in this for a little bit.
Oh my! How the fuck did
you didn't know? Look at Craig's face. You didn't know that?
I did not clock it.
You look shocked.
No.
Yeah, he was the guy with the ranch they stayed on towards the end of the movie while they were taking care of Doc Holliday.
Do you know what? I think I should just leave now.
Hooker's ranch.
I should just leave now. I think I've lost all credibility.
No, to be fair, I actually
basically the Clark Kent of disguises. It works the same. You throw a mustache on him, anyone but Kurt Russell, and you won't know who they are.
To be fair to Craig, though, I think it is hard to spot him. So it's not. You're fine. Don't leave us. We need you, man. Don't leave us right now. We need you.
He did Baseball 2 in 1992, and then he did this. That is like, he just went fuck it in the end of that. He just went, I need some money.
So we got Charlton Heston. Billy Bob Thornton is in this in a very, very memorable scene, by the way. Frank fucking Stallone. which if you recognize the last name, yeah, that's
that's his
Sylvester's brother. Harry Carey Jr., Robert Mitchum, who I mentioned him because he's the narrator at the beginning and the end, and apparently he was a very famous Western actor. I'm not
surprised they didn't use Sam Elliott because he's just got that voice. Like, I feel like they could have used him for the narration there, but I guess it wouldn't make sense for the end of it.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense with the having him.
I think it works better with Robert Mitchum.
It's
Apparently, he's a Western legend. I have no idea, but
same.
So if that's the case, it definitely works.
I'll if I ever get to show this to my next door neighbor, he absolutely loves westerns. He's a decade and a bit older than me. Loves westerns. That's all he ever. If I ever mention anything to him, he loves westerns. I would love to watch this film with him. It's just see what he thinks.
We also have Thomas Arena. If you remember, he plays Quintus in Gladiator, the very first Gladiator. So very similar name to the guy to my left. So Buck Taylor, Peter Shareko, and Paul Ben Victor, who's I am a big fan of, even though he's only a character actor. He's been a character actor for about 40 years. He plays the Spanish guy in the movie. But the funny part is he's one of those rare Americans who can speak multiple languges. He can speak Spanish, Greek, and Italian, basically the Mediterranean language. And I found out through the Wikipedia page that that he's actually Jewish. Mel Gibson must have put that in there. So
there it is.
Good night, folks.
Thanks for tuning in.
And that's how you do it, folks.
Sorry. I got to keep the continuity going.
Oh God.
And then, of course, I omitted a name because we're going to talk about this guy like probably every single fucking minute of this review, and that is Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, which is dude. For me, it's like top 5 most memorable performances of all time.
Phenomenal.
It's incredible what this guy does. And it's not just that he's hilarious, he's also a badass. And there's also the charisma is off the charts. And there's also some like just great dramatic scenes with him where it's a lot deeper than
talking about towards the end.
Yeah, well, there's also he also hints at. There's plenty of them. But
he's phenomenal in this role.
If anybody ever recommends this film to you in person, eye to eye, or you're actually conversing with each other in real time, somebody goes, "Have you ever seen Tombstone?" If you say no, oh my God. One of the first sentences is usually you got to see Val Kilmer in this movie.
Yeah.
Because as Doc Holliday, he's just absolutely incredible.
Was he a good Batman? Because I have yet to see that Batman. Was it?
I thought you meant Iceman. I thought you were saying no, Iceman.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Craig? Do you think it was a good Batman?
No.
I thought he was a good Batman in a bad movie.
Yeah. I'm not going to say he was bad in the film, but was he a good Batman? No.
Okay.
I thought he was actually a pretty decent Batman.
Was he a good Bruce Wayne?
He was a better Bruce Wayne than he was a Batman. I'm still not notching up higher. I'm not saying like George Clooney's better, but in the pantheon of Batmans, he's not. I don't think he's on the podium.
Heard that.
Probably not, but I think he's underrated. Just my opinion, though. Anyway, cinematography, William A. Fraker, edited by Frank J. That's a tough name. Urethra. We'll go with Urethra. Roberto Silvi, Harvey Rosenstock. So 3 different editors on here. That's always a bad sign usually, but it turned out well.
Seems like it'd be a little chaotic.
Yeah. Music by Bruce Broughton, who I'm not too familiar with, but I got
music was fire.
You like the music? Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic, dude.
I thought it was pretty good, but the
Yeah.
the main theme of it is
Yeah.
just so perfect
hits.
for a Western.
That
Yeah.
hits. I didn't like the love music that happened when Kurt Russell's relationship. That wasn't my favorite, but it was like they have to throw in that romance in there with the Western, you
It
know?
comes up quite a bit as well, though. That's the
Yeah,
thing. Like,
it does.
not
Whenever
it
they
doesn't
get
come up
together,
loads and loads,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
when they
still
get together,
makes
it's
great
like
music. I think he did a good job, though. I'd give him 8 out of 10 for the music side.
Distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, the release date was Christmas Day of 1993. So this was released on Christmas. Think of
A
that.
bold choice on their part.
That is
really
that
bold.
is.
that's not something that happens here. I mean, it might be released on Boxing Day, with the day after Christmas Day, but
I think we had Nosferatu come out on Christmas Day this past year.
yeah, that only missed by about
It's not unheard of.
a month and a half, 2 months and a half, or something. It was, slightly wrong, but
Yeah, right.
So the running time of this
no
was
idea what I was thinking.
the
Sorry,
running
Bob.
time of this was 30. Why did it say 30 minutes? It was. Why did I write that?
It felt long.
Let's pull up
but
the.
I enjoyed it.
No,
Oh,
it's about-
I
it's about
missed
like
a
2
one.
hours.
It was 130 minutes. Sorry.
Yeah, it's
I
2
missed.
hours,
I
14
guess I
minutes.
mistyped there. Okay, so the budget was $25 million, and the box office return was $73.2 million. So
Good
some
profit.
moderate success in
There's a
there.
moderate.
I'm sure they made a fucking killing on DVD sales.
Oh,
Home release was probably crazy.
No, VHS.
Well, VHS and DVD.
I'm sure DVD did well, but VHS home release blockbuster, they would have made a fortune on that in the 90s. But I'm pretty sure half of that budget went to white shirts in that film. Everyone
Yeah.
has a pristine white shirt. You can't
Yeah.
make shirts that white, nowadays. Put some in the wash with the most expensive detergent you got. You are not getting shirts that white, and everyone's got one in every scene. That's where half the budget went.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure they were a lot dirtier than what they looked in this movie, but you can't deny that the outfits are fly, though.
They're great.
Yes,
They are. I absolutely love the outfits in this film.
Mhm.
I don't know why everyone's wearing like a neckerchief, like it's cold. It's like this looks scorching out there.
Everybody, oh my god, it looks like everybody probably sweats their balls off.
Yeah,
out
but
there.
what they're
Because
doing
this
they're
is
putting away-
Arizona, by the way.
Yeah, not just
it's
Van
Arizona.
Kilmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't a
Yeah,
precise
that's some
figure on
crazy
how
stuff.
exactly much Tombstone made on video release. Widely considered to be significant success on VHS, later DVD, generating substantial revenue beyond its theatrical run, particularly due to its cult following, popularity among action fan movies. Yeah, there's like no data.
I'm
That's crazy. I kept looking.
Pointing at you, Brian, with your 5 different posters,
Oh, I got okay. So I got this one. There's
Van
there's
Kilmer. I didn't even notice that. That's funny.
there's one over here. There's also Kurt Russell's up here, with the shotgun. Hell's coming with me.
Yeah.
That's that scene. The four cowboy one, the four one is them walking towards the OK Corral. Like
What is the picture to the bottom left of Van Kilmer?
That's Kevin.
Wolves.
That's Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves with Two Socks. Have you ever seen Dances with Wolves?
No, that's not the one that like was the highest grossing film of all time, right? The one before Titanic. No, that's Gone with the Wind.
No. It wasn't the highest grossing film of all time. It made a killing though.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, it's blurred. Like I could just see it blurred out, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, knew exactly what. I never even paid attention to it because it is more Doc and Ripley.
Yeah.
And you got Pulp Fiction to the
The
left.
saddest. This is literally the saddest death in movie history for me. Two Socks.
Really?
Have you ever seen it, Craig? Dancing with Wolves.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, not in a long time. Again, like this.
That might be a fun one then.
Like 91, wasn't it? Dance with Wolves.
It was either 90 or 91. It was the same year.
Robin Hood.
It actually beat out Goodfellas for best picture. Believe it or
That was
not.
90.
That's
was 90.
crazy. Goodfellas is damn good.
Which you can make an argument that Goodfellas should have won it, and even though
You prefer that film, you can't argue the fact
I
that it
don't
didn't
know,
win.
I was about to say I do, but I don't know if I do. I don't know which one I prefer. But anyway, Dances with Wolves, great movie. We got to check it out someday, especially since Captain Quintano hasn't seen it.
We have not.
Avatar in the Wild West. That's what. If you haven't seen that film, it's Avatar.
Like
in the Wild West.
Avatar, the blue people.
Yes, it's that in the
Yeah,
Wild West.
but it's actually good. Avatar.
Yeah. It's memorable.
Avatar is beautiful to see in theaters. I'll say
That's
right now.
That's it. That's the review of Avatar. It's beautiful to see him.
It's Pocahontas in fucking 4K and with machines.
Same thing. Yeah.
That's what Avatar is.
Yeah.
It's just Pocahontas with machines.
All right. So Tombstone takes place in Tombstone, Arizona for most of the movie, which is a dead town. You can actually visit it today, by the way, if you wanted to. And some of the buildings are still there, but the town is deserted. What in the West, you had these mining towns that would pop up every now and then for prospectors who would be trying to make.
It was silver for this time, or was it gold? Because I remember them talking about silver at the start.
Both.
Okay.
Either or, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't matter. But Tombstone became notorious because in around that time, that's when Wyatt Earp and his brothers, and Doc Holliday was there as well. They took up residence in the town, and they were very particularly Wyatt Earp was a very famous lawman, and they were there to try a different life, but then they got sucked back into the being police officers, essentially. And then they got into it with the in the movie they call them the Cowboys, but really in actuality they're like
the gang,
the conglomeration.
Yeah, it is organized crime though. Basically,
it's a gang. Yeah,
it's the mostly the Clantons and a couple other ones too. McClowry, I think, is one of the names. So anyway, but it's based on, this movie is loosely based on some things that may have actually happened. That's not really that important though. I'll leave that up to people to look into what really happened, because there's a lot of shit talking from what really happened. You know, there's a lot of, it's one of those things that's really
it's a lot of hearsay, like, because someone who has spent all their, made it their life's research to know about this stuff will say one thing, but then someone who's done the same thing has come up with a different set of conclusions due to, hearsay from these different people at different times, and they're choosing and picking who said what, who was right. It's
at the end of the day, these guys
there's this film and the truth, and this film and what they all say, and somewhere in between all of that subterfuge is probably what happened. Between that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, these guys made an impact on these towns. These guys were real people from our understanding, right? Yeah. So they were real people, and they made an impact to have this story be passed down. So that something happened there.
It's basically American legend and folklore now.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what's real and what's not anymore.
It made a damn good story, that's for sure.
It did. But most of these people were real people. And the one thing's for sure, the gunfight at the OK Corral actually happened. So we know that. We know that's.
We know it didn't happen.
Real.
One thing I did look up, it didn't actually happen in or outside the OK Corral. It was somewhere like down and around the corner, kind of. Yeah, pretty much. It was, but a bit like the Alamo. It didn't actually happen in or at the Alamo. It was somewhere vaguely near there. So it.
Yeah.
According to the Wikipedia, about 30 shots were fired in 30 seconds.
Christ.
During that brief battle, 3 men were killed, 3 were wounded, and 2 ran away. And 1 fought but was unharmed. Yeah. Wikipedia.
It must be true.
It's facts, bro. 10 out of 10 factual information.
Yeah.
Wikipedia was there at the time, right alongside Elon Musk. It was crazy.
So so these guys, they basically are forced to get back into the law enforcement occupation by the cowboy gang that they encounter in this movie, and all hell breaks loose, and it is one hell of a ride, ladies and gentlemen.
They're forced by their own sense of morality. They're not forced
Yes.
by anything, but this has to be addressed.
Yeah.
And we're the guys to do it.
Facts.
They're like the Western
The Western Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. Like we're the ones to do this. You bet we are. You know, they're the guys who have to sort this shit out.
When there's some cowboys in the neighborhood, who you gonna call? Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell is amazing in this.
He's crazy,
Oh
but honestly,
God.
I think I'm with you there, Brian. I think Doc Holliday, Van Kilmer in this movie is just like every scene that he's in, you're just what?
No, because I'm the one who said Doc Holliday. He said Kurt Russell.
Oh, well, no, I remember him. He was talking a little bit about, but both of you guys, I mean, everyone who says that, I mean, standout performance. My God, every scene that he's in, I found myself locked in more so than the others. I don't know why, man.
The charisma on
You can't, yeah.
It's unreal.
It's like it's one of those performances. Like it's not a similar performance, but the stature of the performance is similar to something like Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. You just can't take. You're hanging on every word.
Yeah.
You can't take your eyes off of him, even if he's doing something bad. You're like, holy, I can't.
My favorite shot of
away.
this entire movie was him playing the piano. That whole shot right there, I don't know why, but I love that entire scene so much. I felt like I was there and I was in that moment. And I was that guy at the bar just kind of looking in on them. But that shot was gorgeous, man. I loved it. And there's a lot of great scenes in this movie. I'm not down counting any of them, but I don't know.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where here's two things I'm going to mention about his performance if you take it out of the film. If you take Val Kilmer's performance out of this movie, then I think more people would be talking about how fucking incredible Kurt Russell's is. 100%. Even though it is incredible, but when you have Val Kilmer's performance in there, it's hard to talk about Kurt Russell first. Yeah. Since Val Kilmer's performance is in there. The other thing is, if you took Val Kilmer's performance out of this movie, I think it goes for, at least in my opinion, because we're not doing ratings yet until the end of this. But in my opinion, it goes from a great movie to a good one. It's that the performance is that impactful that if you take it out, it's not the same.
Yeah, and for me, that is all charisma. It's charisma and writing. Now, obviously, a lot of the writing is, that they're being as artistic as they can with it. They want to make it as good as they can. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But goddamn the charisma on it, and especially considering how they affected Val Kilmer to show his tuberculosis.
Yeah, he lost like 30 pounds for the role, right?
And they made him a little bit more paler.
Definitely added some sweat to him. I actually texted Brian while I was watching the movie. I texted Brian. I was like, "Why the fuck is he sweating so much?" Brian just responds, he's dying of tuberculosis, you asshole.
Yeah, he's literally like, why does they make him sweat in every scene? And I go, he's literally slowly dying of tuberculosis.
It's like when you ask him, buddy, you're like, yo, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? And then he
it's like a case of impending death.
Yeah.
The
way you responded to it, it was like you were defending him.
Don't worry about that
fucking
shit.
dying,
dude.
Dude, it's Arizona. You could have just said, it's fucking Arizona.
The worst part is I contemplated for the next 10 minutes if Brian was just making a joke or if like later in this film I'm gonna find out, and then an hour goes by, you still don't find out while he's profusely sweating, and then it hits and you're like, okay, yeah, he has tuberculosis.
As well, though. They call he calls him a lunger at some
60. Like 60% of your lung is like gone or something.
Yeah.
Well, that was a nickname for people who got that disease back then, I think.
He's the only guy in Arizona, especially in that time period, who doesn't have a tan. He's got a tan like Nosferatu. That guy.
Fair.
Yeah, it all.
I want to grow a mustache like Kurt Russell.
Oh my god! Oh, speaking of the mustache, did you know that everyone in this movie had a real mustache except for one, the guy who plays Meehan?
No.
That's the only guy who has a fake one because apparently he was working on another movie before he came to the set, and for that movie he had to be clean shaven, so they had to.
Gotcha. So everyone
else has a real mustache.
So hold on,
Anti-Henry Cavill.
I was gonna say, like, tell me how with fucking Zack Snyder's universe, just super quick segue, they CGI his mustache away and it looks like fucking shit. But in this movie, they put a prosthetic on and like you don't even realize that it's not a real mustache.
Because
It's a movie that's made 30 years prior.
Because
I guess it's for moving them.
Dude, quick answer. 100% of the time, real effects will always look
Always,
better
bro. Prosthetics are
than CGI.
fucking key.
And that goes for shitty real effects. If you can do it, make it in the room, it always looks better.
Yeah.
How shitty does the thing from 1982 with our boy Kurt Russell look? But how good does it look? It's like, how the fuck did you manage to make that happen?
Yeah.
But you watch it and you compare it to the one no one saw with real CGI or just anything like that. It just doesn't hit the same. That's the point.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit the same.
Mm-hmm. You guys want to go through some? This is probably one of the most fun reviews to do when it comes to going through some scenes here, because there are so many memorable scenes in this movie. You guys ready to go through some of these?
Let's
do it, dude.
Okay. Let's try not to get it like make the scenes like too long or anything.
Billy Bob Thornton.
We've been doing good lately with keeping this under 3 hours with these reviews.
We hit 2 hours.
Yeah, we hit under 2 hours last time, which is I don't think we're going to do that this time, but we'll see. But let's get into some scenes here. We can start with the very opening scene, because this is for me anyway. This is like this should be standard on how to open a movie in terms.
Give me
of
the monologue. In
terms of introducing the bad guys, because this is perfect. Introducing the bad guys. So we have the narrator talking about what life was like in the Old West with that 1 minute long old real style thing, and then he talks about a band of outlaws gathered together, and they were the first, which I guarantee it wasn't the first, but he says it's the first recorded organized crime in America. They call themselves the Cowboys, and then you see the guy put the gun to the camera, and then you hear the actual gunshot, and then bam, and then you see them riding in. Oh, so good.
A great way
so
to
good.
open it, man.
And you see this scene, and you know that these oh my god, these poor Mexicans, they're in so much they're in so much trouble. They're in so much trouble.
That's crazy.
No, that was not intentional, Quentin. Okay.
I did, dude. I don't even know what you're talking about.
But no, they ride into a town in Mexico, and
it's barely even a town, though, isn't it? It's just...
It is. But that's where all the there's a Mexican couple getting married.
Yeah, it's like a church.
Yeah.
To me, it was just like a church with a few
with
buildings.
There's a couple other buildings.
He's getting married.
But they're getting married, and it's all Mexican police that are the groomsmen there apparently, and then the Cowboys show up, and we got Powers Booth out in the front, and dude, I love Powers Booth.
That's the guy that was wearing red in the movie, right?
Yes,
he's fucking great.
Curly Bill.
Curly
Bill. That's it.
Yes, and he just does that little laugh, and then he takes those red sashes and throws them up in the air, and with that great accent, because y'all killed 2 cowboys. And then all of a sudden it just pops off, and all the Mexican guys are just blown away. This is actually, if you think about it, this is it opens with the darkest scene in the movie. This is some dark stuff going on here.
Debatable.
You don't think
debatable.
So?
No. Val Kilmer's deathbed. That shit was dark.
Oh, but the snooker table.
That was pretty dark too. But I'm talking because maybe I'll persuade you guys a little bit, because once they finish,
I mean, there's some darker stuff. There's some darker themes that go on.
Darker themes for sure.
Well, it's not just because it introduces the bad guys, and it shows that almost all of them have no soul whatsoever.
Hey, they didn't kill the priest.
Yes, they did. The most soulless one did.
It.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
they avoid it. But
let's go. So we got
the priest going. I've got God on my side, because he's getting away with so much considering what just happened, and then one of them's just like, he's not gonna stop. So at one point, your boy, he has enough. He's got to go.
Yeah, so once they eliminate all the Mexican guys,
Why do
dude,
you say it like that, bro?
what do you mean? Why do I say it? The Mexican police guys?
Oh, limit. All right, yeah, just
I'm saying it like Mexican police, huh?
Mexican
It's like-
police.
But once they wipe them all out, except for the bride and the groom, you hear that one guy in the background. Looks like we win,
Yep.
and then he tells them, "Fuck the." Dude, so part of me is the sadistic part of me thinks we'll get to it later, but there's a sadistic part of me that thinks like a lot of this movie is a comedy. But anyway, so he
It
tells
reminded me of Gangs of New York in some parts.
really,
Yeah,
really?
I don't
So-
know why. But go ahead.
Yeah,
It's
so
very
Powers Booth as Curly Bill, he tells the guy to get on his knees, and then when he doesn't, he says, "Hey, somebody get on his knees," and they shoot him in the knee. You hit him on his knees, and then
You know
that's
what,
when
I'm not gonna lie, that's a good joke.
And
I
they're
know
having a
it's-
great time
is
while
the-
they're doing this.
It's so dark to say it, but that is a bloody good. Like the guy won't get on his knees, because they're he's a cop. He's a Mexican cop,
Mhm.
for lack of a better term. And he won't get on his knees. Someone shoots him in the knee, so he has to drop to his knees.
He
I'm
has
sorry.
to.
That's so fucking
That is-
crazy.
he has to.
It's a
But
good joke.
he gets on the ground, and Curly Bill taunts him, says "Gracias," and then he makes that short little speech where he's like, "I'm Curly Bill Brocious, and the next time we come, you better step aside. I ain't kidding either." And then that's when the priest comes in and basically tells them the whole biblical stuff, and I love this part because they're really establishing who's who already within the bad guys, essentially, because the Spanish guy looks back and he says he's telling something about he sits on some sick horse and it's I don't know what he's talking about. It's crazy. He's a madman. And then Johnny Ringo, who's played by Michael Biehn, leans over and he says, "That's not what he said, you ignorant wretch. Your Spanish is worse than your English." Which right away goes to tell you, not that he's an asshole, we already know that, but this guy is intelligent.
Yeah.
And if he's
a
or
force
at
to
least
be
well
he's a force to
educated.
be reckoned with.
Yes.
This guy's in here, and he's got.
We
the
get more of
balls-
that later in the film too.
Yeah.
He's got the balls to say that to another one of his guys. Like this guy's a menace. Like,
Mhm.
He's the one to watch out for.
And then that's when the groom looks up at Curly Bill and goes, "You go to hell." And he says, "You first." And then bam, blows him away. And this is the part that it's really dark, I think, is when he dies and the
Yeah.
bride is over his body and crying. She's totally distraught. And then four cowboys
Four
get
guys,
and drag her away. And one of them's picking at her dress, and Lord knows what they did with her. So,
And then you do see something here I want to touch on a little bit. Just Yondu. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, the actor's
Michael
name.
Rooker.
Michael Rooker. You see him in disapproval. He's hanging back and he's not joining these guys that is taking her
Awesome.
into the church to do God knows what.
That is what we
that's
call
a good point.
foreshadowing.
It is foreshadowing, full send. And it was light. I was like waiting for it to pay off through the whole movie. And I was like, when it finally did, I was like, there he is. But
right.
yeah, super cool scene. And
Again,
great intro. Oh, great opening scene, bro.
That is what I meant by it. Get the darker themes. I
Yeah.
didn't mean look darker late in the film. I meant that because that one.
It's so
everyone
fucked.
people
Yeah, you're
people
right on
getting
the money,
killed, but
actually. I
people
forgot
getting
about
killed,
that
but
scene,
the
which is
bride-
strange.
The bride on her wedding day, who's walked out, couldn't be happier. Her brand new husband is killed. Everyone's.
and now it's the
starting to
worst day of
masturbate,
her
and then
life.
Four guys pick her up, and
Dude,
And yeah,
Lord knows why with
we're
her.
not going to say it, but I think we can all probably.
It's implied.
They thank God they leave that up to the imagination. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't imagine that. Not to be.
But that's when. But because it's a wedding, the scene's not over. They all are gathering at the table, and meanwhile, the guy on the horse is still shooting shit.
Psychopath.
Yeah. So they go over the table, and that's when the priest decides he's going to chastise them some more, and he walks up to him and starts pointing at him and yelling some more things in Spanish, and that's when Johnny Ringo just fucking turns and blasts him right in the head. And dude, this is textbook how to establish who the bad guys are, because what happens 5 seconds after he shoots him? Curly Bill looks out at everybody and then just starts dying laughing.
Yeah, he's a sick fuck.
Sick fucking dude.
One of my other favorite shots. We'll get to it later down the line, but like when the tree gets shot next to him in a certain scene in the film, and he just is laughing even harder. I'm like, dude, I love this guy.
Yeah,
he's so great.
He's one of the more underrated performances in this movie, probably.
Phenomenal. There's just so many great performances. It's easy to get overshadowed.
Yeah, and then after he finishes, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're going to do that kind of raid, if that's what you're doing, go to a wedding. They get there, they kill everyone. You've accomplished your raid, and there's a buffet waiting for you. They all go and sit at the table, and that's when the priest comes out. The priest starts running his mouth. I'm sorry, there's a time and a place to run your fucking mouth.
Dude, he made a big mistake.
And when everyone around you who are your friends have just been shot to fucking death, shut the fuck up.
Really?
Just do not fucking...
True words have not been said, my friend. Right on the money with that. Just shut the fuck up and get out of there before they decide to shoot you.
Go in there and start praying like fuck.
Yeah.
That's your life. That's your
Let me
job.
ask you something, Craig. Do you think that, like, because they didn't shoot him in his first tirade, do you think that maybe there was a stigma about, like, shooting a religious person?
That's exactly what I thought was going on. And then when he did that, because they didn't want to do it, but when he did that, the fact that someone else has done it, that's why they can laugh. That's why, because they're not.
But the fact that
celebrating it, but they laugh at it.
I think that because if that's true, what you just said, where there was like a stigma around shooting, a priest and being like, maybe like a bad luck thing or something, maybe they are scared of something happening.
Well, obviously, you go to hell for taking a life, taking a priest's life, whatever connotation you're going to attach to. But, But this guy did it. Someone else did it for us. Now we don't have to listen. It's very simple as we don't have to fucking listen to this guy anymore. We can enjoy the banquet that these people were going to have.
But I think it also establishes more that Ringo is the biggest wild card in that group. You don't know what
he has zero fucks to give in any given situation.
He didn't even think twice about it.
He gave him. I think he gave him enough rope to hang himself with.
He might have.
As far as Ringo was going to go, he didn't do it straight. He could have done it any time. Ringo goes, go and take enough rope. Right, that's it.
Yeah,
I can make a noose now.
And then to establish again that Johnny Ringo is the most educated man in the group. Curly Bill asked him, what was he talking about, sitting on a pale horse and stuff like that. And then he starts quoting, he says he was quoting the Bible, Revelations, which is what, behold the pale horse.
Yeah,
the man that sat on him was death and hell followed with him. I think that's what he says.
Which turned out to be somewhat true. He was, not somewhat true, but learned Latin, Greek, and French, I believe.
Latin, Greek, you said the Mediterranean languages, right?
So if you're learning Latin, there's a damn good chance a lot of that would, because the Bible was transposed from Greek into translated from Greek into Latin originally. So there's a damn good chance that if he was learning those languages, he would have been reading a lot of biblical scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me assuming.
That would make sense, though.
Yeah, that on the terms of that would make sense. Yeah, I'm assuming that's probably what actually happened. I don't know how good his education was. I didn't see his papers, but
I'm sure Wikipedia has it to the T.
Yeah, it's never been wrong. So,
I would think that most of the people in this movie wouldn't even be able to read anyway. At this point,
Probably not
sure.
Curly Bill or yeah.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
That cost money back in their day. If you wanted to read back then, that cost a lot of money. So these guys came from poor backgrounds. This guy was educated. It's known that he was. So,
which one, Ringo or
Ringo?
Ringo. He was the one who did go to college. You said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Doc Holliday was a dentist, apparently.
Yeah, I was wondering where the doc went into that whole situation.
I know. I just thought it was.
I think he was. I could be wrong though, because I haven't read up on this in quite some time. But I think he was from a well-to-do family, but like was estranged from them. He didn't. Something happened in his younger years where he kind of just abandoned the family. But he was like a teenager. He was like a teenager. So yeah. But he was raised in a Southern aristocratic family, sort of. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, practice dentistry in Atlanta. It's funny because I mentioned Atlanta when you said that Southern aristocrat. I was like, I wonder if it was Atlanta. He did. It was Atlanta and Dallas.
Yeah,
From
interesting.
what I understood is that his tuberculosis and his coughing fits just made it pretty untenable for him to be, because dentistry back in the day was just like taking a set of clamps into someone's mouth and just giving it that. If you're having coughing fits, yeah, I mean it's bad enough because you get any sort of infection there in your head back then that
you're dead.
Very easily spread your history.
Even nowadays, there's people get like tooth decay and shit like that won't go to the doctor, and before they know it, they have like a life fucking threatening problem because they didn't clean their teeth and shit went to their.
It will spread.
It happens still today. Yeah. It's like syphilis, it just spreads everywhere.
Dude, we hit two.
And that's all, folks.
Yes, we hit the two norms with these reviews.
Spreads to the mind, just like
it's always syphilis and Mel Gibson.
Do you know what syphilis? Do you know what the worst bit is? He actually hit the nail on the head there. Syphilis does that.
Spreads to the mind.
Oh my god, I need to go see my syphilis doctor after that.
Yeah. There's
and with that, I will be right back.
This world's so fucked if there's doctors that specialize in syphilis.
All right, let's do this is a shorter scene, but the introduction of I just want to briefly touch on the scene where that introduces Wyatt Earp, because that's right after
Are you talking about where
actually no. Actually, sorry. Let's do Doc Holliday. Let's do Doc Holliday first, because that's the order that we go in. So this is the scene that introduces Doc Holliday, which is
the poker scene is so fucking good. It's so good.
Yeah. So the camera's panning over a bunch of chips and watches and rings and all sorts of things that people used to gamble with back in the day. And apparently the pot is 500, which is that has to be an exorbitant amount of money back then.
Insane
amount of money. This is like a world where people got paid like a couple cents for a day's work, so $500
feels like it nowadays.
Yeah. So anyway, this camera pans up and the pot is $500. Mr. Holliday, are you in or out? And then it gives a just wonderful shot of Val Kilmer, who leans up and says 500 must be a peach of a hand.
It's so good.
His accent is. It actually says. What does it say here on the Wikipedia page? It says. What kind of accent is this? It's a
aristocrat,
genteel Southern accent, which apparently means a Southern aristocratic accent. Which, if it is, I'm buying it. I've never heard a Southern accent like this before.
The fact that he said what did he say as a peach? That gives more light to the Georgia roots.
500 must be a peach of a hand.
Must be a peach of a hand.
Yeah, and then his girl,
like
which
DiCaprio in Django, if he actually knew some different languages.
Yeah. And his girl sits down, and he's like, "Kate, you're not wearing a bustle."
I don't know what that is, but you don't need to know. It tells you.
You don't need to. Yeah. Apparently, it has something to do with. I just assumed
it was like panties. I assumed it was panties.
That is like do you know what? That was so much like the British language when people say, "Oh, what does that?" You guys have done this to me. What does that mean? What does that mean? What is
I
the
don't know what it
context?
is.
What does it sound like? You don't need to. You can just like, what does it sound like? That's what it is. You know, you just.
Oh yeah,
That's how we talk works.
it's a padded undergarment worn by women in the late 19th century to create a full rounded shape at the back of the skirt. So it's what gave them an ass before they drank all
like
our
a fake
genetically-
ass.
It was
Okay.
literally a fake ass.
The Brazilian
Before,
butler.
It's the
before
Victorian ass.
Victorian touche.
Yeah, because you also have
So
to remember
so
this
he's
is
getting-
taking place during Victorian times as well.
That's crazy. Now we just have Brazilian butt plants. My God, how we have evolved.
Now instead of putting it on the back of your ass, they put it in your ass.
Yeah.
Doc Holliday's getting some great ass.
She's got a great ass,
Holy
and it's
shit.
not real.
You know what the craziest part is like growing up, whenever I would see older movies like that, I kind of wondered. I was like, how do they get the skirts to go up like that? Like, what gives them an ass? Because they didn't have asses back then, dude. So it's a bustle. A bustle,
well,
a bustle for a busty broad.
Well, in the if you ever saw it in London, England, when they had that big,
Victorian era with the course.
yeah, it was like literally a cage,
Yeah.
like
You're talking about the corsets that would give them like that hourglass shape.
no, like on the bottom half. So like the actual like the skirt bit where the ass
You'll have
came
to
out.
send me a picture later.
You're not gonna like it that much, trust me. It's literally like, imagine it was like made out of bamboo or something, like
fuck.
constructed like that, or maybe wire. I mean, it wouldn't have been bamboo, but just for the argument's
Sounds
sake,
horrifically uncomfortable.
it probably was.
You got to
Like,
try one on
yeah,
and let
yeah.
me know how it is.
Oh man,
Yeah.
well, I tried a corset and no.
Give you $20.
All right, so we're still introducing Doc Holliday here, and
Worth more, I know.
Worth more.
it's Jesus Christ. We mentioned a fake ass, and you guys can't stop.
It turned. Yeah.
What was the?
We know
dictation
who the fans are of fake asses in this fucking panel.
My girl, all natural. That's what.
I see a fake ass, and it's a great ass.
If that was the case, I'd move to Miami, brother.
There's a lot of them there. There's a lot of them
Holy
there.
shit.
Oh, Jane.
That's what that is one film we could at some point we will do. She's got a great ass.
Yeah.
What
You got
movie
your
is that?
head stuck all the way up it.
That sounds like some Austin Powers. What is that?
Brian, I know we've talked about this. Come on, man, don't leave me hanging.
Is it a UK film or no?
No.
She's
It's
got a
your boy, it's got your boy Val Kilmer in it. Brian, well, come on.
Batman? If it's Batman,
No,
I've never watched it.
it's Heat. It's Heat.
It's
It's a
Heat.
great movie.
Okay.
Heat. It's a great movie. But let's
hope
get back
you
to the
would
Doc
definitely-
Holliday scene here.
Sorry.
So we're introducing Doc Holliday. He's still
Jane.
he's just delaying the inevitable with this guy, but this guy is so mad. He's like, "Come on, show me your hand, show me your hand." And he's, well, I might be deranged, but I guess I'll just have to call. And then he puts the hand down, and it looks like a four kings or something like that. I can't really tell because the cards are
It looked like, yeah.
Old
kind of
style.
primitive, yeah. And then, but he puts the four kings out. And he just goes, "Isn't that a daisy?" The guy flips the fuck out. "You son of a bitch!" And then the guy's like, "Just settle down." He's like, "No." He's like, "Take your fucking money and get out of here." And then the guy goes, dude, one thing you're gonna learn about this movie if you watch it for the first time is there's a lot of shit talking.
A lot.
Between a lot of
there's
characters.
So much.
In fact, this
The world needs a little
90%
shit talk. I'm all for it.
dialogue in this. 90% of the dialogue in this film is just shit talking.
It feels like
People in the
wrestling
middle of the
promos
street.
from the West, from the old West.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff.
Well, there was. Do you know what? There was a lot of wrestling territories in the Old West, like in the
No shot.
sort of
There
70s
was.
and 80s. Yeah. Oh god. And there was plenty of cowboy gimmick wrestlers, and they were just like, "I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna drag your ass down the ring, boy."
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Plenty of that shit happened, man.
So he's pointing at his Doc Holliday's pointing at his guns, indicating like, "I could just end you anytime I want." And the guy goes, "I don't care about those guns, because if without those guns, you're nothing but a skinny lunger." And Doc Holliday goes, "Oh, what a ugly thing to say. Does that mean we ain't friends anymore?"
Just egging him on.
Yeah, and he goes, Ed, if I didn't think you were my friend, I just don't think I could bear it. And then that's when he makes a move, but then he fast as shit pulls the guns out and stops him right in his tracks. So we're establishing that
so
Doc
fast.
Holliday is... We don't even know if he's a good guy yet, but he's definitely one of the
force to
more...
reckon with.
He's on the edge. I mean, he's not a good guy, but he's not like the worst villain.
He's a
He's not like
tweener.
going to Mexico, ruin your wedding, kill everyone, and do the unspeakables kind of guy. But
Well, we've established he's got a woman.
I feel like he's an anti-hero.
Could be that. You could make the case that he's a villain that just happens to help the good guys.
Yeah, does he does cheat, right? Because I don't remember them touching that on the film, but
When she sits on his lap, to me that
yeah, it seemed like an indication that she told him what the cards were in some way.
Oh no, I thought she was slipping him cards. I mean,
that's possible.
There's nothing that's like improvocating that. But
Does she keep him in her bustle?
Well, he checked. Maybe she had them somewhere else.
Yeah.
Smell the cards.
So...
Yeah. What the fuck?
Oh, my God.
It's like every time I'm like, all right, we're at a point that's good. And then Craig's like, yeah, just smell that shit.
Do you know what?
Jesus Christ.
The amount of shit that Quentin's come out with.
The amount of shit on those cards that he pulled out of her muscle.
That's not what I was suggesting.
I have a sicker mind than all of you because I thought he was fucking indicating that he was hiding the cards up her pussy.
That's what I'm saying. That's not.
Can you
that's exactly
say
what
that
I
on
said.
here?
That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I'm
God.
saying.
We don't
That's
call
what
it
I
that.
said,
We call it
smell the card.
nature's pocket.
I didn't say
It's called
smell it,
nature's
so
pocket.
Nature's pocket. I love that.
I got that from Broad City. Shout out.
This is why we're such bad reviewers. We fucking try to go through a little sequence here, and it just immediately goes off the rails every single time.
I mean,
Card.
I
How
thought
that
she
scene
slipped-
turned
I
into
thought she
hiding
slipped-
cards up her pussy is beyond me, but hey,
No,
that shit
right.
snowballed.
My immediate suggestion was she just slipped in the cards, went and sat in his lap. Maybe she had them like on her leg, and like the little strappy thing on her leg. But then obviously those are jokes being made there. But up her ass, do you know what? That is so much worse. No, he dug in her ass to get these cards out.
How could you fake card?
Look,
Card
all these
comes
cards
out
out. They
perfectly
look like
rectangular out of her ass.
they look like the world's worst cigars when they come out.
So when he's in the knife fight, and then she pulls the gun on the bartender and says, "Touch that gun, I'll burn you down." Do you think he was more scared of the gun that was to his head, or the smell that came from her fingers?
He was worried what else he
knows the smell from
what-
the gun
what he
barrel
was
that was
worried
shoved
about.
up her snatch.
He was worried about what else he was hiding, maybe.
Oh my God.
This
Do you know
channel's
how much
never getting monetized. It's over.
the amount of time and effort they put into this film and the troubles they went through to, and then someone who loves it is reviewing it, and this is what we devolve it into.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh,
And do you know what? All that after some absolutely delicious dialogue, some absolutely fantastic acting by Val Kilmer, delicious dialogue, and then all we talk about is delicious cards.
Yeah. But yeah, he's got the guns pointed at the guy, and then he decides he's gonna flip him down, put him on the table, and smacks him and goes, "Hey, there, now we can be friends again."
Friends.
And then the guy takes a move at him because he's got his opportunity now, and then Val Kilmer just pulls out a knife. Bam! Just
Right in the
rams
neck,
it.
right?
No, it wasn't in the neck. It was in the I thought it was either in the
No.
side or the leg.
No, someone like
It was the neck. For
That's
sure.
Really?
Yeah, he got like jugular action.
Let me see, because
No,
I've seen this movie
there
almost
is-
100 times. I've never thought it was the neck.
Speaking of which, there's a gruesome death, and I don't want to forget about it, so I'll try to remind myself later in this film that made me so uncomfortable. We'll get to that. I just got to remind myself out loud.
Let me see. I'm playing it right now. Let me see.
I know there is a neck scene.
No, it was definitely in his. It looked like his rib cage,
He didn't get stabbed in the neck?
But no, it was in his rib cage. But he actually pulls, like later, he pulls the knife up to his neck to like get him to stop.
Okay.
As if like, I'll slit your throat right now kind of deal, I think.
Maybe that's...
I remember saying that. For everyone watching, we don't have photographic memories.
Yeah.
And we don't write
definitely not.
everything that... We used to write everything on every scene that goes
Yeah,
down.
and then we started doing
That's
5
how you guys
hours.
get
we
5 hour,
started
6
doing-
hour reviews. We at one point there was a contemplating adding tangents into the title of the channel because of how long we would talk about random shit.
Oh, yeah.
At least
Yeah,
2 out of 3 of us probably have ADD or ADHD, so bear with us as we go through this.
Yeah. So then the Kate is gathering up stuff. The part that I didn't like about the scene is the first thing she grabs that bag, and then the first thing she does is put the gun in the bag and then starts gathering stuff. I'm like, no, keep that gun on you, because y'all are in the middle of a fucking robbery, dude.
She did. She put it right back in.
Yeah.
Said like
Put that gun right back in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, gotta keep that gun on you.
See, I'm going to go and
Lanya.
gun this is worth something. I've been put in the bag, and you're going, you stupid motherfucker.
Yeah, but like Doc Holliday, this guy is obviously like raking in dough everywhere he goes, right? So like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess the movie's not focused on that. I truthfully want like a movie with just Van Kilmer's Doc Holliday. Like I would watch that shit. Like give me a story about his life. I love the movie. I'm not saying anything against it, but my God, I wanted to spend more time with this character. And he got so much screen time in this. Just a testament to how great his performance was.
I love how that scene ends though, because they're like getting ready to walk out, and before he leaves, he turns back to the shocked people in there, and he goes, "Well," and then he looks down, and there's 3 more stacks of money on there. He grabs them all, puts them in the thing, and then just goes, "Good evening, man," and then walks out the door.
And then he's like, "Hey, I think it's time for us to leave town." He says something like that, right?
Something like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kiss right off. Yeah.
When he rocks up, what I did, Garner,
What does that mean?
Rocks up. So you rock up to somewhere. So you rocked up to Brian's.
I might have a different meaning here.
Here that sounds like you went
like
to
you're getting
somebody.
hard on.
No, you went to his buddy's house to smoke some crack.
Oh, that too.
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah. It rocked up.
You rocked up.
No, I rocked up to work today. I rocked to my mate. Just you go
You rocked
somewhere
up
you
to
go
your
to.
mate?
You turn up.
Is this
You
like
turn
you
up.
go to a buddy's house and you're like, ah!
If they're my buddies, they tell me to shut the fuck up. If they're not, they just leave me alone. No, just you rock up somewhere. I think that might be maybe some more another thing. I just rocked up.
Quentin's got a beer. I see it.
No,
I've-
I don't
dude,
know.
Dude, I've seen it. Like
This
like,
is yeast in a
Heard
bottle.
that.
what Marmite.
Marmite. It might be.
It might be. You might be.
It might
Oh my
be.
god. Oh my god, dude. That
Tell
actually
you
does
what,
sound like an actual.
If you
accent.
do it, you
Thank
do
you.
it right. Because I'm Michael Caine.
That's 3. Michael Caine is a part of this now. Can we? Well,
Michael
I'll give up
Caine,
on the
Mel
Elon
Gibson,
Musk.
and syphilis.
I'll give up on Elon Musk till we have our next sci-fi movie endeavor.
I'd actually prefer it if we stopped talking about Elon Musk. That guy's
Yeah.
fucking
Fair.
being ridiculous lately.
I prefer Elon Musk stop talking about.
He needs to stop talking about everything.
He's trying to create the iRobot scenario from Will Smith's movie.
Yeah, and that was that was a warning.
Literally.
So is Terminator. Like fuck
Terminator
off.
James Cameron's like, hey, you guys, if someone tries to do this one
You guys
day,
not seeing
here's
the
a warning,
Matrix?
stop
Like, come
him.
on.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we'll talk about that off camera, but the Will Smith Matrix announcement,
I didn't even hear about
No.
that.
we'll get to that.
They do.
They're not going to remake it with.
They
Will.
lost me with that last
Smith
movie
put
they
up
put
a
out.
post.
That last movie they put out, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I heard it was fucking dog water.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just want to touch briefly on the introduction of Wyatt Earp because there is a fucking part here. So he gets off the train and he's looking around. We don't know where he is, but he's looking around, and then he looks to his right, and you hear horse noises in the background. So it pans to
I
some.
love this scene. Go on, mate. Sorry, but I have to. I have to let you know ahead of time.
I know, yeah, I saw the excitement in your face. I did this. It's brief, but it's great. So this guy is pulling a horse off one of the trains, and he's got it by the
muzzle.
reins or the
Yep.
muzzle. It's
Yeah,
like a
the
rope,
rein, yeah.
but he's got it like a rope or something.
By the bit, it's the bit.
Yeah, he's got like a
Okay.
folded like rope in his hand or something, and all of a sudden he just goes, "You know what? Fuck this horse!" And he hits the horse in the neck with it, and then he goes for it a second time, and in slides in Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp, stops him, rips the thing out of his hand, and then just goes what right across his face.
Not the first time he will do this in this movie.
But as soon as he
that.
did it, because you think he's just stopping him, and then immediately, like within a second, just hits him with it. And then the first line out of his mouth is, it hurts, don't it?
He fucking He-Man bitch slaps that guy
He does.
back into civilization. That
Beautiful way for them to introduce Kurt Russell's character, because you already get a sense of who he is as a person in those 3 seconds.
bang, yes,
You know,
exactly.
Fantastic.
You know that what this guy's about.
Yeah.
Good guy, sense of morality, not someone to be fucked with.
Yep.
And what did he say? How did he say anything like that? Hers doesn't it? Like he didn't say anything that indicates that. He just his actions, his demeanor, is Kurt Russell.
There's an alternative scene where he whips the guy in the face and he says, "Yeah, you like that, you little bitch?" It's really crazy. I don't know why they decided to cut that out. So weird.
Oh man. That wouldn't be called that movie's not called Tombstone. It's called
It's called-
Stone.
I thought it was called 50 Shades to Tombstone, but hey.
That's called Pile Driver, mate. That's what that film's called. It's not Tombstone. It's a Tombstone Pile Driver.
That's called the Arizona Reach Around.
Put a rattlesnake around.
Oh, we're such idiots.
You two got completely. I don't get you sometimes. I don't.
What?
You two were horrified by me. You just kept
We're
on going
horrifying.
back.
You thought cards were shoved up a butthole.
No, I thought they were.
And then you said he smelt it.
The insinuation I meant was a pussy. Okay, have you what? I'm so sorry for everyone watching this. What does this mean to you?
Smelling.
Not Charlie.
It's a smell test.
Yeah. What does
Yeah.
that mean to you? It doesn't mean it's been up a butthole. Yeah. Yeah. I got with Michelle. Do you want
that finger's been in some ass.
It's not been in anyone's ass. Jesus. Do you know what, Brian? Feel free to fucking cut this bit out.
No, don't you dare! Don't you dare!
No. We have to establish the fact that we were going over a scene where somebody was getting their colon examined.
By a deck of
I
cards.
wasn't.
You want to play 52
I was going to say
pickup?
something. I was going to say something then, and I'm so fucking glad I didn't.
What was that?
Dude,
Dog's
Jane has
going
been
all
rolling
crazy.
around like the cutest dog in the world in your background. She is just
I know.
been
She's-
rolling and
yeah.
biting the bed. She's having the best time.
She's
Whatever.
getting anxious.
Whatever catnip is for dog, I think someone sprayed it all over that cover.
Yeah, she's going
she's
through
big
one of
enough.
those. It's 10 o'clock. Usually she's like deadbeat tired, but now she's worked up all of a sudden.
She's staring directly into the camera, piercing my soul currently.
I know.
Well, she's got,
Yeah.
she's got
All
a
right.
few fans.
Okay, so
She
Kurt
does.
Russell,
She does.
the next intro scene that I feel like we really get to with Kurt Russell, something that I wanted to highlight a little bit, because as we see Kurt Russell, they're pointing out different areas of the town of Tombstone, and they're kind of getting the full tour by the mayor here. I think right off rip, you kind of get an okay vibe from the mayor. Later on, we realize he gets sketchier as the movie goes on, but as Kurt Russell and his brothers are getting introduced to the town, they point to the area that no one really goes into to gamble. And what does Kurt Russell do? He goes straight into this place. And he says, all right, well, let me fucking establish myself firm and proud in this town. So he goes in there, chats up the bartender for a minute, realizes why no one visits this place. It's because of
Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa himself.
Billy Bob Thornton.
This piece of shit guy.
A pudgy Billy Bob Thornton, by the way.
Yeah,
pussy, which is not like any of Billy Bob Thornton's characters.
No,
none.
I thought, fucking hell, this guy looks like Billy Bob Thornton.
So
But
I thought it, but
Billy Bob Thornton looked like
that
this.
heavy. He's like 30 pounds heavier
Billy-
than you've ever seen him. It made no sense.
Right, your normal Billy Bob Thornton is Lego. This guy was
Yeah.
a Duplo.
Yeah, he didn't look like a Billy Bob Thornton who could have fucked Angelina Jolie. This looked like
No, this looks like
Billy
a Billy
Bob-
Bob Thornton that should have been fucking Matthew Jolie.
yeah.
Was that a brother that she did the weird kiss with?
I don't know. I just tried to think of a joke off the top of my head, and I don't think it worked very well.
Yeah, it didn't work, mate. But
Hopefully you're just
You know,
catching
you-
your leg there. Like
you as a baseball player, you know you can't always bat 100.
I struck out that time, yeah.
but no, so we get introduced
It's
to Billy Bob
1,000. You
Thornton.
bet 1,000. If you bet 100, you suck.
I don't even know what that means, mate.
Come on, man.
I don't even know what either of those means. Mike, can I just say,
If you're gonna shit on me, at least shit on me right.
Yeah, shit out of 52 deck of cards on him.
You've been shitting on the British for the last 2 years, and you still get half of it wrong.
What do you mean shitting on you guys? I love the British. Are you kidding
know
me?
You do. No, you do.
Brian has left American culture. Brian is like full-blown Brit now. Every time I walk into his
Well, I
house-
wouldn't say that, but
Well,
I.
Brian,
it's-
do you want to show us?
No,
British
I mean,
American. Here's the thing: American culture is not interesting to me. British culture is.
because it's
Because
new,
it's-
it's refreshing, and it's.
I walk
like-
outside the door and experience American culture every day. It's nothing. It's nothing new to me.
Yeah,
Dude, you
You
talk
know?
to me every day.
Yeah, yeah, and I learn something new every day thanks to you.
I do want to say this. Right, they're all brothers. Fucking hell! How old were their parents? Noah and his wife. The difference between Sam Elliott and the fucking
Well,
younger.
No, the
How
problem
old
is Sam Elliott has fucking looked like that since he was 20 years old. He has
Sam
looked
Elliott
like that. He doesn't
Sam Elliott
age.
looked like that in bloody. What's the Patrick Swayze film that isn't?
Roadhouse, yes.
Roadhouse. He looked like Roadhouse. That was 5 years ago. He looked older.
In Roadhouse, he looked like
now.
55. It's like, what's this old man doing at the bar? Anyway, Quinn, you want to?
Yeah, we can continue on with the scene a little bit. So we get introduced to Billy Bob Thornton. And,
sorry to cut you off, but I just have to point out that the funniest thing about this scene to me is the fact that Billy Bob Thornton's character, the whole time before Wyatt gets to him, is talking about slapping the shit out of people.
Yeah, he's just
talk about, and you know Kurt Russell's character, and it's cool because when you think back on it, you're like, Kurt Russell is listening into all this shit. And he's just like, it played the scene very well, how they fucking chose Billy Bob's dialogue. But come to find out, most of Billy Bob Thornton's his words in this scene were all ad-libs, which is pretty cool. Once again, this is Wikipedia knowledge. Could be completely false, but this is just going off my limited research. But supposedly they just allowed him to just ad-lib and do his own thing. They just told him to basically act like an asshole, which I thought was hysterical because that's how Billy Bob Thornton is in every fucking movie. He just says that shit, and that is his character. But no, Billy Bob Thornton's character learns real quick. You have Kurt Russell standing there, and he confronts Billy Bob, and Billy Bob is obviously a little bit shooketh, and Kurt Russell's character is like, yeah, I could see you're scared in your eyes. Kurt Russell's just keeping that fucking eye contact the whole time. And Billy Bob is like kind of looking away. You could tell he's getting nervous. And Brian, you've seen this movie more than me. I know what proceeds to follow, but I'm going to let you take over from here.
Okay. Well, they established that, Kurt Russell, as it goes on, because there's about a minute of back and forth, and you see Billy Bob Thornton's character getting more and more nervous. But then, when, as you said, he said, I can tell you're scared. I can see it in your eyes. And then he walks towards him. And Billy Bob, that's when he's terrified. And he's like, listen, mister. And he goes, and he's getting ready to pull his gun out. He goes, go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens. One of the greatest lines ever. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens. Somebody said that to me today, I'd be like, I'm leaving. Goodbye, sir.
You say in a bar fight, I might pull that out one day. If I'm ever in an uncomfortable situation, I'm going to try it and just see what happens.
If you did that today, people would be like, what?
Well, you got to say it with confidence, bro.
In England, like they wouldn't even say anything. Like if you were saying that to some punk like that in Britain, nothing would happen.
Yeah.
The guy would just go bang with a bottle.
Fair. Also, when you have a fucking mustache the size of a full-grown mama possum, you don't really want to fuck with that. You know what I mean, bro?
I thought you were gonna say, "Oh my god."
Yo,
I
I'll
thought
tell
were
you
saying
what,
Mama
though.
June. I thought that was
That
gonna be some,
mustache
like,
is so
Honey
perfect,
Boo
bro.
Boo reference. I
Dude,
thought you were saying Mama
the
June like Honey Boo Boo.
No, I don't even know. Honey Boo Boo is a fucking. That's when America. Never mind. Go ahead.
I know. Do you know what you said? Nothing there, but I know exactly.
Yep,
what
you
mean.
got it. You got it.
Yeah, but no,
The-
I thought that when you said, I thought that's the only way you could be going.
No,
Nah,
Mama
but-
Possum was a little out of pocket, but that's what I meant, bro. That shit was thick. Go
what
ahead,
do you
Brian.
mean?
the mustache, and actually, this is the scene where I'm like the mustache with the slicked hair and the tie and the outfit. Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp, he looks fly. This is
Yeah.
a fly
He does
looking
he does
outfit,
look
man.
He always looks clean in this movie, which is something I'll get to in my review. But yeah,
good. Oh, you
So-
doing a separate one?
We want to continue with this because Wyatt Earp is about to layeth the smacketh down.
does
on
he? He
Billy
gives a
Bob
backhand
Thornton.
in there too, doesn't he?
I think he gives two.
He gives a couple backhands, which is like, all right, if you get smacked in the face, that's already disrespectful. But a fucking backhand is like, yeah, bitch, sit the fuck down.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt as much, but you let them. You let
No,
them
he
know
had
I'm-
rings, bro. He had rings on. That shit took skin.
So do you. What are you trying to tell us?
That's just a
I
way.
haven't got rings on. I don't need to get respect. I don't have no rings.
He's a good mixture of
I don't
Michael
know- I don't
Caine
know
and
what to
Forrest
say
Gump
to
there.
Yeah, do you know what? I think I was trying to start with that. Never mind.
Good right now, thank you. Yeah.
So Billy Bob
Love
Thornton is getting his ass beat with 3 basically bitch slaps from Kurt Russell, and he's basically telling them to leave or do something or leave. And then after the third slap, you see a little trickle of blood coming out of Billy Bob Thornton's mouth, and then he gets a little bit closer, just like an inch closer. He goes, "You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?"
That scene was so great.
Fucking love that line.
I gotta play this because this was just an audio I got sent to me by Mr. King Boomer here earlier. But it was right after I had watched the scene, so it was kind of perfect fucking timing here. Here it is.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
It was so good. I just watched the scene and I was hype over it, and I get that with Brian's good little voice over there. But my God, dude, that shit was hysterical.
Oh man,
It's so good because you've seen like he's a good guy. Like this guy is a good guy.
Yeah,
Anti-villain, like he's the very side of hero of the anti-villain.
good guy, but he.
But when saying shit like that, it's like, wow, don't
Yeah.
fuck with this.
His
Yeah.
character development in this movie, I am obsessed with because he has put in the time as a peace officer, I guess is what they called them back then. He has put in his time at this point. He's done. He just wants to live a life with his brothers. He's all about the family life now. And he gets sucked back into his life and he loses everything because of it. And he is so reluctant to save the people. He feels as if he has done his part in this world as a peace officer, as a savior, whatever the case may be. But I didn't necessarily like that his character was just like, yeah, well, it's not our problem. Like, I get it. Like, he had put in his time, but either way, he's sucked back into it, and we see how it all plays out. But
Yeah,
no, I think that's just part of the story, and it was fucking great. Go ahead.
the real guy from, again, our extensive research. I do want to say it is more than Wikipedia. We do look up more than Wikipedia. We do.
We do. I do different layers of Chat GPT, different AIs, and then, but I've been proven wrong by all sources.
The other two of us actually do a bit more. No, he was a buffalo hunter for a while, and also apparently Maddie, his common law wife. She used to run a brothel, and he was the enforcer there as well. So that's where
Interesting.
he got a lot of his actual knowing how to deal with like
Wow.
all these fucked up cowboys, throwing out
Actually,
their
Craig, that's. I'm glad you mentioned that because this Tombstone movie is actually more of an idealized version of the story of Wyatt Earp.
It
There
is,
is actually another movie that came out the same year
Yeah,
that
yeah. I think
touches
it's
on
called
Wyatt Earp, and
Wyatt.
it's called Wyatt Earp, and it stars Kevin Costner.
What?
And it's actually they came out the same year, and it's not even close to as good as this one.
Okay.
But it's not a bad movie though. It's just it doesn't hit like it doesn't. It's not great like this one.
It's not as good a movie, but in terms of, from what I understand of his, what's better, learning a bit about history, or learning all the history and being entertained and knowing it, or learning fuck all about, do you know what I mean?
Do you want to be entertained or do you want a history lesson?
Well, not only that, you entertain, you learn a bit.
Are you not entertained?
Jesus, God.
Sorry.
So sometimes your mic like decides like I'm going to be as loud as possible.
I put it up here.
It wasn't that. It's the fact that you went like this.
I'm sorry. That was my mistake.
You totally shit in there, dude.
Yeah. Eventually, we need to put some sound traps on these mics.
Learning a bit and being entertained because you're entertained, or not being entertained and with the potential to learn a lot of stuff, but you don't because you're not entertained. It's the ebb and flow of that.
But what I was going to say about the Kevin Costner movie Wyatt Earp was that took a more like historical, like a more historically accurate take on it, and showed how the Earps went through rough times. Where this was more of a let's go to Tombstone and have kind of an action movie with a little more meaning to it. You know what I mean?
Give it the love plot. Give it the action. Give it
But there's difference because there's actually Dennis Quaid plays Doc Holliday in the Kevin Costner movie, and his performance, not only this, think of this, because his performance is good. And actually, you talk about Val Kilmer losing weight for this role in the movie. Dennis Quaid is almost unrecognizable in this movie because he looks gaunt. He looks like it weighs like maybe like 120 pounds in this movie. It's actually a really good. It's a really good performance.
Lost
it's just
44 pounds.
It's just not a performance for the ages like Val Kilmer's is.
Holy shit!
But that's all charisma. That's the spraying water on him to make him look sweaty, and a bit of makeup works. It works tremendously well, but it's the effect is the charisma, and it's the dialogue and the charisma that brings that out of him, man. That's But Dennis Quaid,
he has a very interesting film history. Very interesting. Dennis Quaid.
I've always liked Dennis Quaid. I've always thought
he's in one of my favorite like horror thriller action movies ever. This really shitty movie that people hated called Legion.
The one with Tom Cruise and fucking
no, not Tom Cruise. It's called Legion. The girl's giving birth to Jesus. Sorry. Yeah, she was giving birth to Jesus, and the apocalypse was happening. But the movie's horrifying. It's scary, but it's really good.
Was that the Exorcist one?
No Exorcist.
All right. Okay.
Guys, we haven't even got to the best part of the Billy Bob Thornton.
Okay, let's do it.
We do need to plow on a bit.
So
let's get plowed.
Wyatt grabs fucking Billy Bob Thornton by the ear and goes, "All right, youngster, out you go." And he throws him out there and negotiates a take for the.
There's no negotiation. He tells him 20.
Pretty much. But it's like, you just beat that guy's ass, and he's gonna, be an enforcer here as well as a dealer.
He's gonna clean up this. Fucking hell. He's gonna clean up this saloon.
Okay, so we go outside, and Wyatt Earp is walking with his brothers, telling everybody about how he got a stake in this game at the casino. And all of a sudden, you see Billy Bob Thornton, his face still bloodied, and he's got a shotgun, and he's waddling away, getting ready to fucking go up there and blast Wyatt Earp. And then all of a sudden, you hear Doc Holliday go, "Johnny, tie it up!" And then he goes, "Doc, I didn't know you were back in town." And then Doc just walks past him, and it's kind of like a old meet and greet with him and Wyatt Earp. Like, he's like, "Doc Holliday, how the hell are you?" "Wyatt, I am rolling." And the whole time they're talking to each other, and Billy Bob Thornton is just still standing there with the shotgun. But they're totally ignoring him. It's fucking great. That's why and sometimes I think this movie is like, at its heart, as a comedy. Because all of a sudden, Doc turns, he goes, "Oh my God. I'm sorry, Johnny, I forgot you were there. You may go now." And then he's about to walk away. Yeah, and Wyatt Earp says, "Leave that shotgun." So he puts it on the ground and says, "Thank you." He thanks him for fucking telling him to put the shotgun down.
Right.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Something about that. I do want to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think that is classically American? Because there is so much about that seemed very British. Like, you think of the gangster films you've seen, just the person that doesn't matter just being completely ignored while the people that matter are talking, and then you just turn and just go, "Oh right, you put down, fuck off."
That's basically what he said. Yeah, when you say it that way, yeah.
When I saw that,
he's not. It's not like he's just standing there with nothing. He has a goddamn fucking double barrel shotgun.
He could take two of them out at least.
Yeah,
you know,
he could take all four out with two of those shells if he wanted to.
If it was a good enough shot. But no, it's just that dismissive. That is so British. Yes. I didn't think, "Oh my God, they got that from England." But that dismissiveness is like, do you know that seems like something you'd see in a British film? Just like,
yeah,
you're gonna.
I can see it. Yeah, definitely. I think you're right.
You're just gonna fucking point at us, or do you want something? That sort of dismissiveness of them.
Yeah, but yeah, that was Billy Bob Thornton's.
So natural. Of course, it was a great scene. It reminds me of something British.
Yeah, but it was that was the only scene that Billy Bob Thornton's in, but it was very memorable. And my God, never before or after have I seen Billy Bob Thornton so heavy. I don't know what he was doing.
I never looked at him and went, "That's a fat guy." It's just the fact that it's not the Billy Bob Thornton.
He's always been like skinny though. Yeah, that's the thing.
He's always been not.
He was a little plump in this.
Yeah, he was getting good. I'm guessing he was getting good roles. He was eating well.
Yeah. Do you want to continue with the theme here that this might be a comedy after all, instead of an action western movie? There's
plenty of things in this that made me laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
So go for it,
dude. And they still make me laugh after all this time. There's a scene here where they're in a theater. And this is where all the Cowboys are half the audience is the Cowboy gang at the bottom there. And then they have the stage, and the Earps are up in the booth with Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday are up in the booths with their wives or their girlfriends, I guess, whatever you want to call them.
They're common laws, I believe.
Yeah.
I believe common law wife.
This is where this is one of the funniest scenes to me. And this is one of the another reason why I think this may be a comedy above all. But this one guy walks in. All the Cowboys are on the floor. They're like fucking around with each other before the show starts. One of these guys walks in, and one of the Cowboys starts messing with them, and then Curly Bill Brocious grabs him. He's like, "Leave him alone!" And he grabs him. He goes, "Sit with me." And imagine like the head gang leader just grabs you and is like, Don't listen to them. You're sitting with me, pal." And he just looks terrified. They go down. So they're all getting ready.
Keep him like a pet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they're all getting ready to watch this show. And oh my God, it's so great. Curtains open.
Who's in the show? Because we get the
well, we're not there yet.
Reveal.
We're not.
It's before that, isn't it?
I don't.
Are you talking about Billy Zane?
Yeah.
Okay, no, this is before Billy Zane. I'm talking that. So the curtains open up, and it's this guy who has these bowling pins in his hand, and one of the Cowboys go, "Oh, Professor Gilman, I know him. He catches stuff." And then, as he's about to throw up the first one, one of the Cowboys goes, "Hey, Professor, catch this!" And then he shoots the thing. Soon as he throws it up in the air, he shoots it. It explodes, shatters into a bunch of pieces. And the line that the Professor Gilman has as he's running to the back, he goes, "They're shooting at us. They're actually shooting at us."
Right next to his fucking.
I just love that line. He's like, What planet are we on right now? These crazy people are actually fucking shooting at us." It's like he did his first show in America.
And then when Billy Zane comes
Well, where
on,
the
he
fuck
just
they
is like
been?
all for it, man.
Where have they been in America that wasn't like this? Like,
Oh.
'cause they haven't flown across America. This isn't modern day. You know, they best have traveled 40 miles in a day, if that. You know, so that it's not like they've reached the breadth.
They ran into a town full of cowboys, is what happened.
Every single time. No, but I was saying you do see Billy Zane and
Yeah.
the lady see them get off. Is all I'm saying. That was
What?
off the
Off the stage.
Yeah.
off the
No, I'm not.
stage.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they
That
get
was-
off the stagecoach, and that introduces that the
so
girl
you
has a
see-
crush
so you
on.
do see.
Yeah. I'm trying to cut this down so we don't go through everything.
Yeah. All right. What is the actual historical relationship between not historical, but in terms of this film, with Wyatt and this girl? Like,
What do you
What do you
mean?
mean?
They just met at the thing. They locked eyes at the thing, and they could tell they were interested in each other.
I thought there was some suggestion about Doc Holliday makes. It's a little bit later when he says, "Oh, if you like, what if she turned up?" Is it just because
No, because
saw her-
he saw the eye contact. He's very intelligent, like you said. I feel like that was seen by everyone there, that they could see that eye contact was made, even
Right,
if
is
that
that-
split
is that-
second,
I
kind
thought
of
there
playing
was
into
some-
that whole love like situation.
I thought there was some sort of historical
No.
context, but
Because
Well-
remember when they met on the horse, they like met for the first time.
yeah,
like,
but that
truthfully.
I thought am I missing something? Is this some like game?
If something
that they're
could have
playing
happened at like band camp, but like doubtful.
Well, there was no flutes. There was no flutes at this band camp.
Kevin Costner's.
Okay. No, I just wondered if I missed something.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, okay, right. So it was just okay. So he got enamored. He was enamored straight away. That's the bit I missed because I thought, right, they got history, and then they're not talking about it out of some sort of storyline. But no, because the rest of the film they never addressed it again, and it never occurred to me that he was just enamored from the get go.
Just enamored. Yeah.
just enamored. Okay.
And then I do like that in the
I feel
scene.
really
so, like,
fucking stupid now that I just didn't pick up on that.
if we want to jump along a little bit forward, there's one scene where where they meet for the first time and they have that relationship and the love interest is fully introduced and they're talking about the hotel service for the rest of your life. Him and this new performer, and he's enamored by that idea, and he still tries to go to his wife, and he's like, let's live this lifestyle together. Let's just go to a new town and let's do this lifestyle. And she's just not for it. And I thought that it was so neat that he was still trying to do that with her.
It's not just that though. In that scene, so yeah, going to that scene.
Obviously, she's got the drug problem. She's a fucking opioid head.
Yeah. I had to look it up because I'd never heard of it. What it actually was, but apparently we've got something like that here. But it's all prescription.
It's opioids, opium.
But yeah, it's
basically like
painkillers.
Yeah, painkillers in liquid form. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called opium tincture or something like that, which is
Tincture.
essentially just means
Yeah.
It's called laudanum, I thought.
Laudanum, but then later, when she is in the bed and she's laughing maniacally, and he then says, "Did you get a new bottle of opium?" Is what he says to her then. So
did
when
he actually
in the first
outright-
couple scenes, he did see it. Yeah, he said opium.
Yeah, like here, it's got like a medical name here, because it's a prescription thing. But like, you have to be post surgery to get that shit here. Like, there's no way you go in your doctor.
Yeah, Londium, a common
Jesus
opioid
Christ.
and pain reliever. What? Oh, the mic. I'm sorry. It's because I lean in because I'm looking things up.
Don't worry, you didn't blow my earbuds out.
Just
Just Brian's.
sorry.
No.
Sorry, Brian. I won't do it again.
I don't know if it matters, Brian, but for continuity's sake, you had the.
It's called opiates.
Just for continuity's sake, Brian, you had the microphone on the other side of your head.
Oh, did I? Sorry. Oh, fucking hell, man.
Well, not
Point
for
taken.
continuity, but it's like what fits better. But yeah, I did think that was just something weird. But yeah, I apologize for not picking up on that, because now the fact that you both picked up on it and like,
That
I
just
just
means
thought,
it just means I'm better, Craig.
what?
Yeah,
what
yeah.
are they got?
Yeah. Fuck the romance scene. Are you guys ready to get into what's probably the most talked about scene in here? It is.
Dude,
It is
that could be one of many things.
No, but I think this is probably the most research scene in this movie. You could make an argument too. So this is the scene where it's after the show and they're all at the bar / casino, and Doc Holliday is flanking Wyatt Earp over the shoulder, and he's dealing his cards. And in walks Curly Bill Brocious and Ike Clanton and, of course, Johnny Ringo. And they walk up to the table and basically introduce themselves to Wyatt Earp and talk some shit to him. And they basically ask him if he's a lawman still. And he says, "No, I'm retired."
Shotgun under the table.
That's when Ike Clanton gets really annoying. And he's like, well, that's real good, law dog. Because law just don't go around here. And he's like, "Yeah, I heard you the first time." Cuts him off. And then Ringo looks at Doc Holliday, who's sweating his balls off over there.
Tuberculosis hitting hard at this point.
Yeah, but he's still drinking. He loves a drink. But Ringo looks at him and he says, "You must be Doc Holliday." And he says, "That's the rumor." And he said, "You retired too?" He goes, "Not me. I'm in my prime." And Johnny Ringo goes, "Yeah, you look it." See, this whole movie is like a comedy / wrestling promo. It really is. It's a comedy / shit talking wrestling promo.
But a lot of that sort of talk was then it is funny, but back then that is just so like steely edge, just cutting.
It's that Western vibe. It's the Western talk shit vibe. It just flows with it.
It's pure.
But I'm with you there, Brian. I can see the comedy throughout this film.
Oh no, it is.
It does
is
so
funny.
much for the movie.
It's funny, but
you're
so captivated by it. You're not going, "Oh, haha, yeah, that's funny."
Yeah.
The captivation.
It's cool and funny
Just make it
at the same
condenses it
time.
and just makes it a bit more.
Yeah.
If that makes it, I get 1,000% get what you mean by it's funny, but it's so like oh god, words is hard. It's so good that you just completely buy into it. Like what they're saying, it's just so it just draws you in so hard. Like it's not humorous. It's just them just being fucking badasses.
Yeah,
like the Rock cutting a good promo. Just to bring it back to wrestling, the Rock cutting a good promo. It is funny, but when he does it and he's saying it, it's not funny. It's just fucking smack talk.
Yeah, but it can still be funny at the same time.
Absolutely.
It's just
all of wrestling to me is hysterical.
We know.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying it. Just
Yeah. So Doc Holliday starts going off on a tangent where he's like, "Should I hate this guy? I don't know." And Kate's like, "You don't even know him." And he's like, "I don't know. There's just something about it." Basically, just talking shit about him again.
I think
and
I hate this guy. Everything.
Yeah,
he's got every permutation of I hate this guy. I'm not sure. Maybe can I do I like him? No, I think I hate him.
But then he finally says it. He's like, "Yep, I'm sure of it. I hate him." And then Wyatt Earp tries to diffuse it by saying he's drunk. And this is the part where probably so many people have looked up these things, but this is when Doc Holliday says in vino veritas, which is Latin. And then Ringo responds in Latin, and it like that's what Doc Holliday, you see him look up like, oh, he's educated. And then they just start talking shit to each other in Latin. And if you guys want to see what listen to this real quick, because
do you have the breakdown? In
I have the actual translation but there has been apparently like bad translations of this before that have been told officially or whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna go through what apparently is the actual translation, but my Latin is gonna be shit. So if anybody's listening and you speak Latin, I apologize. But so Doc says in vino veritas, which means in wine there is truth. And then Ringo says age quid agis, which is do what you do. And that's when Doc looks up and says credat Judaeus appella non ego, which means let Appella the Jew believe, not I. And then Ringo says, what does he say again? I forgot to write down the Latin part. He says, Luventus stultorum magister, which is youth is the teacher of fools. And then Doc Holliday says, in pace requiescat, which means may he rest in peace. So they are not only talking shit to each other in Latin, but talking shit to each other in like a very
poetic way
towards one another. Yes.
That sounds like things you would learn, like sentences you would have learned in Latin from. You're not going to just learn a Latin sentence. You'll learn like a piece of Latin. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe a poem or maybe a prayer, and there'll be a line in there which you'll learn to know what they mean.
Yeah.
So it just sounds like they were sort of picking and choosing out the lines. I don't think either of these two guys were like fluent in Latin. I think it was more of what.
Thank you for mentioning that. Because I have something that I want to read here because it perfectly encapsulates what I believe to be like people who take shit too seriously. Because I got this off of Reddit and there's a lot of threads here. But I scrolled down and I started laughing because I was like, this is perfect. So somebody said, my only issue is that Bean's delivery of Latin is ham-fisted. His character may know it, but Bean doesn't speak it well. Kilmer's a little better, but even he gave me the feeling that neither actor really owned the idea that these characters would speak Latin to one another. And this is why... Because it sounds like, okay, so we got a Latin expert in the room, right? Well, then the next response to this is, no shit, they're cowboys. Why would they speak Latin well?
I mean, that's fucking solid point, bro.
And then the next wait, it's not over. The next guy goes, he goes even further. He goes, it's a dead language with no clear idea of how it was spoken and where inflection landed on syllables and words, and we know nothing of body language to put anything but a guess on it. Eat your popcorn and enjoy the movie.
Do you know what that last guy actually fucking hit the nail on the head?
Yes, he did.
If they put the effort into trying to convey what that was into real life,
pointless.
Yeah.
Fair fucks. Good.
Wasn't ancient Roman like they spoke Latin before, correct?
You mean the Romans? Yeah, they spoke Latin.
Yeah. So they spoke Latin. I remember like when we were doing a tour of the Colosseum, the guy was bringing us around and he was giving us like the tour, and he started to talk about Remus and Romulus and about how, the wolf took care of the children. Supposedly is the story of them. But if you go back to the Latin roots and then a language that was spoken before then, it ends up being like a whore who took in a couple of children. It was like this whole interesting story, but he basically spoke on the fact that like the translations are so crazy because we don't really understand Latin fully because we don't know their body language. We don't really know how they spoke and certain shit like that.
Are you trying to say that my ancestors didn't go like this when they spoke?
No, they definitely went a bobbity boop and did that. 100%.
Well,
You just eviscerated my heritage.
Irish ancestors.
The what?
No, he's
Irish
talking about my other half.
Yeah, the other.
Oh, what, German?
I'm not German. I don't know where you keep getting this thing that I'm German.
Yeah, no German.
What the fuck are you talking about, Craig?
Yeah. Every time you tell me where you come from, it's like you're from like 4 different.
Brian's actually 100% black.
I no German whatsoever. In me. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know where you got the. I get that you're trying to paint me as a Nazi figure, but it's not going to work.
That's
Okay.
Craig was actually hired on by the UK government.
Just
He's
because
part
I
of the
talk
British
about Mel
intelligence.
Gibson all the time does not mean I'm a Nazi.
Guys, out of the 3 of us in this digital room, who's the one who was born in Germany?
You.
Do they
Yeah.
actually drink beer warm, or is that a myth?
We drink beer.
So were you
or
talking about
beer.
yourself the whole time? Or were you
the
talking about
Nazi
me?
Craig?
No, I was
Are you the
talking about
Nazi
you.
Craig?
Oh,
No, I'm
okay.
kidding.
No, I'm not sure. It's Irish, Italian, and then there's like a smidge
We
of English
drink-
left.
Right. Clarification. In the UK, we drink beer at room temperature. Beer meaning actual beer.
What
We
is
drink
what is
lager
called
cold.
What is lager? You guys call it lager?
There's the ale is beer and ale are this side. Lager is this side. Lager is cold. You want to taste the.
In
You wanna taste
America,
the
we
note.
just say, "Hey, bro, you want a beer?" And then whatever you get is whatever you get.
IPA is a lager. An IPA is a lager.
Okay,
basically.
I'm drinking a lager.
Okay,
right
I
now.
prefer lager then.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I hate it when.
Oldest-
Can I have an
oldest-
IPA? People sound like such such lame ducks when they say,
Can
"Can I have an
oldest
IPA?"
Yeah.
Can I have a
that's-
stout?
That's what I drank last week.
A stout would be room temperature generally. Well,
Yeah.
not
Jesus
room
Christ.
we don't heat it up. What we don't do is heat it up. We just
Quentin, are you? I hope Quentin is not turning into one of these craft beer guys.
Never.
some of the craft beers. Are
Please, God, no.
fucking fantastic.
No, I bet they are, but like the craft, there's like among some men here, at least that I've seen, the craft beer culture among Americans is just absurd. They're drinking beer and they act like they found like like they're drinking $8,000 wine or something. It's ridiculous.
I've got a couple of mates who own a microbrewery where I used to live, and I'll tell you what, it's some of the nicest beer / lager. I mean, I don't know how. I don't want to insult them. It's one of the two, but it's so bloody good there. One of them, the dark stout, that is very much a beer. The your regular pint, it was like 6.5. It was bloody strong, but if you're getting a pint of beer or a pint of ale, it'll be darker, it'll taste heavier. That is a beer, and that's what we would serve, not chilled. That's it. You're getting if you get Stella is lager. If you get a Stella, I know you got Stella there. That's a lager. You want it cold, you'll get it cold here. Everything else, everything darker, use that as your barometer.
Okay. All right. So, so they basically just talk shit to each other in Latin in a very proper way for a good minute there. And everybody around them looks pretty terrified at this because, oh my God, it's another language. Ooh. But then, he looks over at Kate and he says, "That's Latin, darling. Apparently, Mr. Ringo is an educated man. And now I really hate him.
Yeah.
Now I really hate him." And that's when Ringo pulls out his pistol and points it right at Doc Holliday's head. And this next part is amazing and hilarious at different points. But even Curly Bill Brocious says, "Watch it, Johnny. I hear he's real fast." And so it indicates that they already know about Doc Holliday. They're just testing him. But then he flips it again, and then he relaxes a little bit, and then he starts twirling it. He's twirling basically a peacemaker, which is, I don't know if you guys have ever held one of these, but that is a heavy fucking gun.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah.
That is all the time. Yeah, that is a heavy gun, very heavy. So it is very hard to do that, and I've heard that Michael Biehn practiced this like a lot before he did this scene, but it is still highly impressive that he was able to do this.
That scene drew on for so much longer than it needed. I would not be surprised if there is a 20-hour-long video on YouTube of him just flipping the guns as a joke. I was like, if Brian doesn't make a 5-minute video of just this guy flipping his gun around and it just never ends and it's in a constant loop, like I just pictured that shit happening. But the way that Doc,
don't tempt me, don't tempt me.
It's like a never-ending loop of just him twirling the gun, and it just continues because that scene went on for like fucking 1 to 2 minutes of him just flipping his gun around.
But this is the weird thing. This is how you can tell how different things were back then. Everyone's entertained. Even Billy Zane, the so above this all actor, he's completely entertained by this, show of showmanship. And it's just like, no, I'd be like, oh, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is just like, this is not going to end well.
It reminded me of like what kids like growing up with. Like we had these things like called tech decks where the kids would like have skateboards and they would like do flips with their fingers.
Oh, I had some of those. Yeah,
like that's what that shit reminded me of when I saw it. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's so fucking cool.
My ex's kid had
like,
some of those.
Do it for another 3 minutes,
what?
bro. Fucking dope.
My ex's kid had some of those.
Oh, really?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember those. Those were fun for about 2 minutes.
Them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he does that, and then the whole bar is cheering.
It was like yo-yo tricks, but it was just
like literally
you don't get killed
like,
with
bro.
Okay, I guess I'm the only gun owner in the room because this is very impressive to me because I know how heavy that gun is. You guys are like, it's a fucking you guys are dismissing it as like a yo-yo trick.
100%.
I'm like, no, you have no idea how hard it is to twirl a gun like that.
I don't doubt that it's hard. I just think it looks corny as fuck for someone to be like, fuck yeah, bro. Look at this. I can go this way. Watch this shit this way. Okay. Fuck yeah. Like it just took me out of it. That was the only scene that took me out.
That the way you did that right there, Quentin. That's not the first time you've done that.
Did I make a dick sucking motion?
No. Just like, yeah, dude, look at me. Like that just came so naturally to you.
That's just like how I picture it. Like one of those people. I don't know, man. That's like as the fart scene in Norseman took you out of a scene. That took me out for about 5 minutes. I was like, yo, there's no way I just watched like 3 minutes of this fucking guy being like, fuck yeah. Like it was.
So it took you out to the part that happens almost immediately afterwards.
I like the scene with Doc Holliday. I like the scene.
He puts the Johnny Ringo puts the gun back in his holster, twirls his mustache.
This bit impresses me more. I fucking love that. This is like Eminem coming back on his diss rap on the end of 8 Mile, just coming back with some bullshit. He pulls a fucking tin can and just does the same shit back.
Yeah. He's looking at Doc Holliday, and he's like, "What are you gonna do, Doc?" And Doc just he takes a gulp of his thing, takes a slow turn with the head towards looking at him, and then just starts twirling his tin cup that he was drinking out of. And it's basically a fuck you.
Did you see there was like a weird foreshadowing at the start of the scene where he's doing the coin in between the fingers. It's how you practice getting dexterity. So he shows that, and then he does that with the cup that he was sipping out of. But I don't know. I just thought that was cool. A little touch, just how quick.
Whoever seen it? Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm derailing. I'm thinking of Constantine.
Constantine. Keanu Reeves.
No, Keanu Reeves film, but it's guy from Moslindale, the guy from lead singer from Bush, where he just rolls. But as soon as I saw that, I just thought, oh shit, it's Constantine. But so that must be something that's just gone on between
It's just-
like you dodgy people.
Yeah, a lot of people do it for like smoking habits, something else to focus on. A lot of other people do it for like dexterity if you have arthritis or something.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he basically just twirls his cup, and it's basically like a fuck
It's
you.
It's just such a massive.
I
fuck you.
could. I think it's also a like I'm still. If you really want to throw down one day, I'm still better than you. I just don't have to show
So
you.
that he did it with a gun. I did it with a fucking cup. A fucking cup that I just finished my drink out of.
Yeah,
I'm clearly drinking, and I just fucked.
that's
you
when
up.
Johnny Ringo was like. I think that's the moment that Johnny Ringo started to become scared of him because he's like, man, there's something wrong with this dude.
No, but if you're doing that to someone who just did that with a gun, fundamentally wrong, or you know that you are that good, you've got the fucking balls of a god, because that is some fucking crazy bullshit to pull off to someone.
It really was. You guys want to get in?
And it worked. It worked.
Yes, it did. You guys want to get into Curly Bill shooting at the moon?
Yes.
Because
Oh,
that
God.
was funny too.
What the fuck
That was pretty
this?
wild. So
He
he's in
wasn't drinking moonshine. He
was in it because it starts in an opium tent.
Where he's hitting the fucking shit. Yeah.
That makes so much more sense.
He was smoking some of the Chinese reefer. But yeah, because opium tents were like a big thing in the West back then. I'm sure like every town had one at some point. But so he just got done smoking opium. What?
1800s.
Opium goes back to even the Roman days, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds, yeah.
If you have a poppy bagel and you go through TSA,
you'll test,
it's just one of those things. But yeah, it's been everywhere for time immemorial.
Yeah, there's so I just want to touch briefly on the Curly Bill shooting the moon scene. So he's in an opium tent, just got done smoking the Chinese reefer, and he comes out and he's like, I feel great. I just feel capital. And then he looks up and he sees the moon, and he's so high that he decides he's gonna start shooting the moon with his fucking bullets. By the way, there's an endless supply of bullets in these
unlimited ammo glitch in this movie for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. But he starts shooting, and there's like an argument over who's gonna handle this. And fucking,
he said it's like a sheriff's problem. It's like, isn't that what he said?
It's well, Meehan comes in and is like, is something going to be done about this? And the Earps are like, why the fuck would we do something? We're not even lawmen anymore. And then the Frank White character, who's I guess he's the
sheriff.
He's the town sheriff, and then there's like the
Meehan is the county sheriff.
There's a mayor,
county sheriff, and then there's the town sheriff. And he says, the mayor says, "Oh no, this is a town problem," because he's a pussy and doesn't want to get involved, and he doesn't want to die. Smart, but doesn't want to.
So he goes out there to confront Curly Bill, and Curly Bill's like, "What?" And he's like, "Hand him over," and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." And then he hands him the guns in like a weird way. He's got him like turned around but upside down.
So
also
facing him.
Yeah.
They were facing himself though, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, sort of. But then he like flicks his wrist like real fast, and it ends up shooting him. But then he kills Fred White there, and he gets he immediately has remorse. He's like, "Oh no, what have I done, Fred? Fred, are you okay?" This actually made me think of the comparison between this movie and the Kevin Costner version, because this scene went completely different than the Kevin Costner version. In the Kevin Costner version, Curly Bill is not alone. He's with several other cowboys, like at night, like just shooting their guns, like causing a scene. And then Fred White comes out to confront Curly Bill, and then Curly Bill in that movie goes, "Yeah, I'll hand my gun over," and then as he's about to hand it over, he flips it around and shoots him like point blank, and just cold blooded, and then gets arrested. So that's the difference.
I need to see this movie.
It's not a bad movie, but compared
to the watch,
I'd say it's worth the watch. It's longer though. You'd have to
Whoa.
invest some time. It's like it's almost 3 hours.
That's probably why the reviews were fucking booty. What came
Well,
out
I
first,
mean-
Tombstone or this movie?
I can't remember.
I'll look it up. In the meantime,
Yeah.
keep
So
talking.
that was the Curly Bill scene. I just want to touch on that a little bit. We can get to the. There's actually an exchange again because you know how we just talked about the Johnny Ringo and the Doc Holliday scene where it's their first time meeting each
Yep.
other and it's basically a standoff. Throughout the rest of the movie, you see that Johnny Ringo becomes more and more scared of Doc Holliday.
100%. He's
and
more
this is-
intimidated all throughout the film.
Yes, but this is one of those times because Johnny Ringo, the only person that ends up scaring him in this movie is Doc Holliday as it goes further through the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody else, he's like, oh, I'll take him on. But when it comes to this is one of those examples where Doc scares the hell out of him. So you remember when it's after the OK Corral shooting, and Johnny Ringo is drunk walking through the street.
Yep.
And he confronts Wyatt Earp
And then
and
Holliday
his
comes
brothers. And he's talking so much trash to him. He's basically like, I will take one of you guys on right now.
I didn't even notice that was him at the time. If I'm being honest, like I didn't even realize.
It's probably.
that it
I think
was
it's
him.
the only
You know,
scene where
I
he
just-
doesn't have his hat on. That's why.
because he also is blackout. He looks like he's fucked up.
Yeah.
There was one character in this movie. It could have been him. I read this once again, but who literally was drunk the entire movie because he wanted to be in character. Either that or he was just an alcoholic.
That's a good excuse.
One or the other. Could be a Charlie Sheen ordeal. But yeah, go ahead.
Oliver
So
Reed,
yeah,
man.
so
Oliver
then
Reed
Doc
was the-
Holliday comes
king
down.
of
I
that.
think Doc Holliday is what? He's getting a shave, right? In that
Yeah,
scene?
he's in the he's getting a shave or something. He's at the barber. Like,
we
on the
could
porch.
jump to the OK Corral
And-
scene, and then
Yeah, we could. But
Yeah.
let's touch on this first.
I'm
since
with
we
you.
Already
I'm
got
with you.
into it. So we got. So yeah, Johnny Ringo is talking trash to the Earp brothers in the middle of the street, and he's hammered. And on the side, you see Doc Holliday is getting like a shave or something, and then he gets up. He has some pep in his step when he gets up.
Yeah, he
you
does.
can tell he's excited to get involved in this because he like shoots up and immediately puts the gun behind his back. And Johnny Ringo.
This is the I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yes. So Johnny Ringo he's still talking shit, and then Wyatt Earp says something like, "I'm not fighting you, Ringo. There's no money in it." And they start walking away, and he's like,
see.
any of you got the guts to play for blood? And then Doc Holliday just enters the chat and goes, "I'm your Huckleberry," and
What
that's
does that
just my
mean?
game.
And then his
Does
boys
that-
pull him
does that
away.
actually-
It means
is that-
it means I'm your man.
Mhm.
Basically,
is that
same
something
thing.
that's actually? I don't mean obviously it's not like
Not nowadays,
saying
but back
every
then I
day,
would
but-
imagine it's like I'm your guy. You looking for someone? I'm him. Type
Yeah.
shit.
I also think it may be a reference to the
obviously
Mark
we're
Twain.
Huckleberry Finn.
Mark Twain.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was maybe in that.
Huckleberry
Probably
Finn.
is.
That's
Huckleberry.
about the kid who paints the fence, right?
Yeah,
Tom
what
Sawyer.
was his friend called?
Tom
yeah, What was
Sawyer.
his friend called?
No, we're not going to
Yeah.
say his friend's name.
I don't even know, so I'm in luck. How racist is it based off of that?
It's literally the
I
racist.
mean, I thought it was in your like National Library of Congress.
Oh, I definitely read the book.
it
though, yeah.
is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, what was his name?
What is Tom Sawyer's friend's name?
Yeah. Oh God.
Please
Is
don't
it-
say it. Please.
I'm
don't
not
say
gonna
it.
fucking say it.
Craig's trying to
If
goad
it's
you
what I
into
think it
saying
does,
it.
I'm not gonna do it.
He's trying to goad you into saying it.
Joe Harper?
I didn't know he had a last name. I remember him as something else.
I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about, unless the U.S. government has changed names of shit.
Okay, so let's.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what?
There we go. He finally
You
saw
know
it.
what? I actually thought you got really good at acting for a second there. I was like, there's no way you just like suddenly became this good at acting.
Oh.
No.
Oh God.
So
How do I, as a Brit, know that? There's no age gap here. It's
I
like,
don't know, man.
that is.
I mean, we read that shit growing up, but whoa.
yeah, so I'm your Huckleberry, and that's when Ringo.
Your Jim.
That's when Johnny Ringo turns and sees Doc Holliday there, and Doc says, "That's just my game." and Ringo, because this is one of those scenes where you introduce Johnny Ringo to Doc Holliday, and there's no fear in either one of their eyes. But as the scenes go on and their interactions go on throughout the movie, you slowly see Ringo becoming more and more scared of Doc Holliday, because he realizes that this guy, he's
got nothing to lose.
He's got
Doc Holliday,
nothing to lose
he
at
already
all,
knows
and he's
dying.
ready to die at any point in time.
Yeah.
Apparently,
And that
Kurt
scares the
Russell's a
crap
little
out
bit
of him.
more willing to die later in the film, but
Yeah. But
But that's when he's lost a significant amount. Like we can get to that, but that's when he's been. He had that life, he escaped that life, and he's been dragged back to it, kicking and screaming, and he's going, I'm getting back out of this life.
yeah. You guys want to touch on the OK Corral shootout?
we can.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it, buddy.
So we got our 4 heroes, I guess, that are going.
Should we quickly preface it how we get to here?
No, because it'll take 20 minutes.
Yeah, it'll take longer than 20 minutes. Basically, 2 of the brothers are dead. Oh no, this is before.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're not that far. No, this is
Sam
before the
Elliott's
shootout at the OK Corral. This is when they after one of the Cowboys breaks it. Actually, one of the things we could, because it's just funny to me. Remember when they break Ike Clanton out of jail?
Yep.
And he's the one guy, I think it's Frank Stallone's character,
What does he say?
who starts talking shit to Wyatt Earp like on the porch. And he's like, I'll fight you right now. And Wyatt Earp takes his gun out of his thing and just smacks him with it. Whack! And then that's when they start talking trash, like, we'll see you later today. And we'll finally have this out.
That guy's such a bitch. Throughout the whole movie, he reminds me of Benny from The Mummy, where he's just like constantly running away and he's just talking shit. And yeah.
Yeah. So they, all 4 of them, there's 6 Cowboys down there apparently talking trash, and they go to sort it out. Wyatt has to be the one convinced at the end to go down there, and because all 3 of them are all in on it, they have to talk Wyatt into it. But when they do, they go down there, and when they show up, that's when Meehan pops up. It's like, I already disarmed him, don't worry about it. And he's like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
And they
fuck
show
the
up,
mayor.
and they're like, all right, turn over your guns. And that's when they all put their hands on their hips, and that's when it freezes. Everybody's like, oh, whoa, hold up, that's not what we want. And then the 2 Cowboys in the back just book it. They go out the back. They're like, fuck this.
Fuck out of there.
I haven't drank enough to be a part of this shootout. But then there's a long, like, minute sequence where it's just a stare off. And your camera goes back to everyone's eyes. And does anybody want to let me know what kicks off this fight here?
Go ahead,
When,
Mister.
What was it? The
Mr.
little
Clint
kid,
Eastwood.
Well, no, it's Thomas. It's a zoom in on Thomas Hayden Church, and he's looking around all nervous. And then he puts his eyes on Doc, and Doc winks at him.
Oh,
yes.
Is that the
And that's
famous
when you see
improvised
Thomas.
wink?
I don't know, but that's when you see Thomas Hayden Church's face morph,
Yes.
and he's like, "Oh, that man did not just wink at me." And then you hear Wyatt Earp say, "Oh my god!" And then that's when the bullets start flying off. And what do you guys think about the shootout scene? Was it? How good do you think this was?
I thought it was good. I don't like the stormtrooper shooting. Like, I get that the guns weren't as accurate maybe back in that day. I get that whole thing, but it's like everyone should be dead there. You know what I mean? The boys were outnumbered. They should have been lit the fuck up. You should have seen limbs falling off with the many times that they should have been shot. But our heroes got to win, and I'm all for that. They still did get some major injuries. We got homeboy Sam Elliott getting shot in the foot. And saying ouch in his glorious voice. He's like, ouch, and then he trips or whatever. And the other brother that, who cares about him?
Who's the guy in the scene that has all the cheat codes, apparently?
You're talking about with the unlimited fucking ammo?
Yeah.
Everyone.
No, it's
Kurt
Doc.
Russell.
It's
Kurt
Doc.
Russell.
Above all, Doc Holliday
Doc?
has all of it. Doc
Oh.
even has an extra shell in his shotgun. Did you see that shit? He takes his shotgun, he points it up in the air, shoots it to get the horse out of scared and out of the way.
Yeah.
Then he shoots him then he shoots him,
Yeah,
drops
that's
him,
yeah.
and as he's putting the gun down, it goes off again.
It's insane.
It's a total fuck up.
Right.
That's a big but then again, so like I rank The Mummy 10 out of 10, and that's a movie that like specifies unlimited ammo. Like
Yeah.
there's some movies where I don't give a fuck because that's the vibe that they're going for. There's a certain level of humor in this film. This film is to be taken seriously, but like something like that back then, that was just a staple. They didn't know how to direct around the fact that you had to reload every shot. People back then, we just wanted to see a crazy Western shootout. And God, did they give us that in this scene. It was dope. It was dope. And then the one guy in the middle, what's his name? The one guy who we've seen throughout the course of the film be a pussy, but he was just like, I fucking got no gun, please.
I've got no guns, I've got no guns.
Oh, Ike Clanton. Ike Clanton, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Played by Stephen Lang. Stephen Lang
Lang
actually was.
great.
Stephen Lang's amazing, man.
He's so great.
Do you recognize him off anything, Quentin?
We're going to look it up.
No,
You don't
don't look him up.
You don't
Okay, all right.
recognize Stephen Lang at all?
No, but he was great in this film, Stephen Lang.
You might recognize him off.
Oh, I'm a scumbag. Because he doesn't
I'm guessing
look
it's
like anything else. He's covered with a beard. Avatar,
Yeah,
for
I was
one.
gonna say,
He's
you
in one of my
might have-
favorite horror movies of all time, Don't Breathe, which is fucking just a great thriller, where he plays the blind man who's a murderer, psychopath.
I know you've seen Avatar 1, so. Oh, fuck.
He doesn't look anything like it. You always see him in like military roles because he just has that like army military face. You know what I mean?
Dude.
What, he's the American Mark Strong. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know who the fuck Mark Strong is, dude.
Oh,
I'm uncultured with UK culture, brother.
Brian,
We just watched him.
Do you want to feel
Mark
this one,
Strong,
mate?
what movie?
Brian.
Kingsman?
Yeah.
Hold on, Mark Strong. No, that's not Eggsy's mentor, is it?
No, it's the guy who
Merlin.
is Merlin, yeah.
No.
Oh,
You come.
I like Merlin. He's cool. He's in a lot of those
every
action
single
movies.
film.
He
he's
plays
in,
a villain
the
in
guy-
most movies, though.
Yeah, but he's always some ex this, that, or the other ex.
Fair.
He
service.
plays like an equal amount. I've seen him an equal amount, like good and bad, probably.
But
But
do you know what? To me, that's the one weird thing. Like, obviously now I know through getting older and learning, I know about how many what capacity guns have. But back then, for the most of, I didn't know that, I hadn't put any effort into that. It's like, oh yeah, unlimited ammo.
well, the person that definitely has the limited ammo is Doc Holliday, because he's hammering the one, and then he goes both of them, bam, when Ike Clanton comes through the window, and then Doc Holliday, bam, 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 through the window.
Shots.
Yeah, and after all that,
To us Brits, though, it's just like, well, yeah, that's how guns work. that was my point. That is, to us, that is like, yeah.
no,
It's,
not
to
that
you guys,
much.
like, well, not even this. This is not realistic.
Yeah,
I've been to a shooting range. To Brits, like, well, yeah, it's a gun.
yeah.
They
So
shoot.
this is, and to end it, there's one cowboy left, and he's been hit like 4 or 5 times, and he's standing up, and he's bleeding. And Doc Holliday, he shoots him, but it's empty. And that's when the guy goes, "I got you now,
No.
you son of a bitch." And he goes,
And then the head
"You're a daisy if you do."
It's so fucking cool.
And he does that like
He's
that's
the
not.
coolest character.
The
Adam-
scene is actually as cool as the OK Corral scene is. It does have some pretty glaring issues here. And this is one of
most
them where
of
he
the
puts
action
his.
sequences in this.
It's
film
hard
do.
to convey it, so maybe I'll change this up a little bit. There we go. So he's got his arms out like this. He's like, "You're a daisy if you do." And then the guy raises his arm, but then he just goes, "Pah!" And miraculously
right?
hits him in the head. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Pretty insane. But it's definitely the climax of the middle of the film here.
If anyone noticed, yes, I do have a Cadbury Scream egg.
Yeah,
Not
there
an
you go.
idiot. It just came on. It's
I'm
like
laughing.
it's out of shot, but I'm sorry. I know that's like so not part of the point. But I was like, oh, that's out of shot. No, it's not.
Yeah. What else? What else is funny? There's so many quotable Doc Holliday lines. Like when Clanton is pissed off that he thinks Holliday's cheating. Holliday says, "Baby, poker's just not your game." Mike."
Your game.
What does he say?
And then he says, "I know. Let's have a spelling
Spelling
contest."
contest.
Yeah,
That's a
that
fucking
shit is
great
mint.
line.
Top fucking
That is-
tier.
Oh, that is fucking.
Oh,
that
I
is mint,
Clanton.
that
This is
line.
why I think another reason why I think this is actually like a more than anything else, it's a comedy. Do you remember when
know what?
Ike Clanton is like Doc Holliday goes to, he's having his like tuberculosis attack and he gets dragged out of the fucking place and Ike Clanton stares at him being dragged out the door and he goes, "What's wrong with him?" And the guy says, "Longer." And he goes, "Yeah, well, I hope you die." It killed me.
Do you know what? It was on Wednesday when first did my first watch for this, and when he said, "Let's have a spelling contest," I thought,
Oh yeah.
I'm fucking stealing that. I'm gonna bust that out on someone at some point. 'Cause, you know,
Yeah.
so many people watch it, but the amount of people I have to deal with that I would say that to have never watched this. It's okay. Then,
Yeah.
let's have a spelling contest.
It's
I
just
can't spell for
so
shit.
good. The delivery of that line
No,
was classic.
But it's the way he's got that effectual accent. Let's have a spelling.
It's the difference between Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell with their characters is that when Wyatt Earp says something threatening, it's just badass. When Doc Holliday says it, it's not only badass, but it's
so
hilarious.
cool.
And
It's hilarious.
He's got a sense of humor that's built into it, but he
It's-
also says it. His accent is so fucking cool. You're just like, fuck yeah, man.
One of the best examples of this, I think, is when they're outside and it's when they arrest when Doc Holliday decides to arrest Curly Bill Brocious after he killed Frank White, the sheriff, in the middle, because we touched on that a little bit. So Wyatt Earp is arresting him, and that crowd gathers because they're pissed because a lot of them, I guess, saw the thing. Maybe they didn't see it, but they pretty much figured
there was no.
he's the one who killed him.
No, they said there was no. Afterwards, there was no witnesses. So
Yeah, but that crowd still gathers. So anyway, that's not the important part. So Wyatt Earp is arresting him, and finally the Cowboys that are in town figure it out, and they're like, "Well, let's try to spring this guy." So Ike Clanton yells, "Turn him loose!" And he's like, "Well, I'm not going to." And Ike Clanton, "I swear to God, law dog, if you don't step aside, we're going to tear you apart." And he puts the gun right to the front of his skull. And he goes, "Listen," and the first line out of his mouth is, "You die first." Get it? Your friends might get me in a rush, but not before I turn your head into a canoe.
He goes, "He's bluffing." He goes, "No, I don't think he is."
He says it so fast. He says it so fast. His friend goes, "He's bluffing. Let's rush him." No.
That is self-preservation.
And then Sam Elliott comes out.
The speed at which he says it, though, Thomas Hayden. This is how fast it is. Thomas Hayden Church's line is, "He's bluffing. Let's rush him." No.
No, don't do that.
No, he ain't bluffing. And then he says, "You're not as stupid as you look, Ike. Now tell them to get back."
Sam Elliott.
But then he says that. But then he gets. This is why the contrast between him and Doc Holliday is like, because Kurt Russell's is just intimidating and badass. Because he says all that, and you're like, "Oh shit, that is awesome!" And then all of a sudden you hear, "And you, music lover, you're next." And you see it's Doc Holliday on the porch, and he's got a gun pointed at Thomas Hayden Church. He goes, "Drunk piano player, you're so drunk you can't hit nothing. In fact, I bet you're seeing double." And Doc Holliday says, "I got two guns, one for each of you." Did you see how he spun the guns in opposite directions and still caught him?
Flex. It's such a flex.
So awesome.
I am gonna have to watch that back. That is,
Craig, he literally flips the guns like, just one flip, just one simple flip. But one of them goes one way, the other one goes the other way. So one of them goes backward, one of them goes forward, and he catches both at the same time.
Even though Doc Holliday is dying through majority of this movie, he is more on his toes than any one of any other character in this movie. He is on his toes 99% of the time. He's the quickest to react. Just a testament to his fucking character. He's so amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Craig, what did you say?
No, I'm just I have to watch. Saying I have to watch that, but because I never caught that.
Yeah.
Literally, when I was watching it, I wasn't like focusing on the minutia of what he was doing, but I just saw him draw them. But if he like, I reckon he must have practiced that for like. It's been like walking around on set between takes, or whatever, or setups, and just doing that the whole time. So by the time he can do it, he's like,
I don't know, because I know that Michael Biehn practiced that flipping the gun for that whole sequence, minute-long sequence that Quentin hated, when he's showing off in the bar. But I don't know if Val Kilmer did any practicing for that. But it's
He
definitely
did-
badass.
He did the one trick with his, but he did not practice the gun flipping, as far as Wikipedia is concerned.
Yeah. And then there's
maybe he was just really bad at it. So when he tried to do it, he just got it wrong, and it just fucking worked.
That's
yeah.
fair.
That would be so fucking cool.
I don't know which one is more impressive, though, honestly.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I reckon that the latter, they just like they're looking back and you go, what? Looking back with all the monitors just after the shot, and they're just looking at it. It's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't mean it. Do you want me to take that again? No. We've got that's in the bag.
Yeah. This is there's also the Wyatt Earp scene where wounded Virgil is getting on a train, and the Cowboys are there to ambush him, and then he's like, "Where's Wyatt?" And then you hear Wyatt go, "Right behind you, Stillwell," and then blast him, and then he puts up his spur to Ike Clanton's face, and then just fucking rips his face open. Oh, so badass.
It's so disrespectful. I love
Yes. And then he lets him go
it.
get away.
Go and tell him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That whole there's a sequence in there after that, because that's the famous one. He's like, "Hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me." But then it goes into like that 2-minute action sequence where it's basically shows them and all their. It's basically like a fast kill count sequence where they're going to knock off all the Cowboys. There's one part in particular, because if you can think of all the Doc Holliday lines that are great in this movie, this is my favorite one. They burst in on a cowboy, and he's in bed with 2 girls in this room. And the guy, Texas Jack, says, "Nobody move." And then Doc Holliday, with his shotgun pointed at him and a cigarette in his mouth, goes, "Nonsense. By all means, move."
That's some real shit right there.
He's like, "I want to see some tit before I blast this guy away."
It's like he has some Bond lines. Like he has some James Bond lines that are just stored away in his head. That's
actually
what I can relate to with his dialogue. It's so fucking crisp, man. It's cool.
That's the same sequence where the guy falls off the bed or the chair, and he goes to grab the bottle, but as he goes, and he puts the gun in his mouth, thinking it's a bottle. He turns back to drink out of it. It pulls back so you don't see what happens. It's just
oh my god!
He just blows his fucking head off.
Dude, I don't know about you guys, but the very first time I watched this, like when he has it in his mouth and puts his hands up, I didn't think he was going to pull the trigger. And then all of a sudden he does, and it immediately cuts to the next action sequence. It's crazy.
It's like that. You just hear the crack and then cut. I actually, because I probably, I've said before, I don't laugh hard at much. I just like.
That's such a good scene.
That's how you know. That's how you know we're sadistic, because me and you both laugh at that part.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That.
But yeah, that's a good action compilation too that they put together.
But
for this
that's
movie.
pure rage. To me, that's kind of like pure rage out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they say something later to what what is he's after, but no, it's just pure rage after what he did to his brother, and it's like no,
he's had enough.
I tried to run from this, and you dragged me back in, and I put up a fight, and you dragged me back, kicking and screaming. Right?
Yeah.
You're getting you get my wrath. You wanted it, you've got it. This is
Yes.
the rest of that film.
How about when Doc Holliday is he's dying, and
That scene, man.
he's dying on that ranch, and well, it's not
Oh, the
not in
Colorado.
Colorado, but he's on that he's on Hooker's Ranch, and he's like he still wants to go with.
If there's a good place to die,
Wyatt.
that's it. Hooker's Ranch.
Yeah, nice. But in this case, the hooker is a 6'6" Charlton Heston.
Yeah, it's not it.
Or however tall he is.
Not the ideal hooker in the situation, eh?
Yeah, but he's dying, and then
Hey, hang on. Hey, what are you going to say about us?
You 6'5" people? Yeah, I don't want you being the hooker of my deathbed.
yeah.
No, I want you being my hooker now, Craig. No kidding. Go.
Okay, I'll say it about 7.5 hours. That's about the flight. And okay, I cut that.
I don't know what the 7-hour thing was referenced.
It's
that's all it
take
takes
to get to the UK. It
Oh,
was good. I like that. I did.
it's probably longer than that. But anyway, so Doc's dying in.
I caught that too,
this...
Craig. I'm happy that you're laughing at that. It's probably
No,
longer than that. 7.5. Yep.
I'm laughing at how bad that went.
So Doc's dying on the ranch, and he wants to go with Wyatt because he's agreed to the showdown with Johnny Ringo. But he wants to go with him.
This deathbed. I know what you're talking about now.
So but he's too sick to go. So then Doc rides off to meet Johnny Ringo, who he's waiting by a tree, and you see
it's like the two oak trees, isn't it? They say, or
there's 2 trees, yeah. And then it cuts to the scene.
So he's he's leaning up against a tree. And then you see another person walking in, and you think it's Wyatt Earp, and he's like, "Well, I didn't think you had it in you." And then all of a sudden, you hear, "I'm your Huckleberry," and it looks up, and it's fucking Doc Holliday, and you immediately see Ringo go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, and he look again like obviously he's ill, but goddamn, does he look clean? He looks fly, man. He does. He looks.
Do you think Doc Holliday is the pale horse?
Yeah.
That
makes sense. Wow.
There's no way you could put a line like that in. Like, do you know when we said before about Nolan's films and like every line has to mean something. That line was such a line. It had to have made sense somewhere. And that dude.
Why does this movie not have a
that dude? That dude is Voldemort with a nose and mustache.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But like I was saying, like earlier, like I touched on it more than once, but like at this point, Ringo is fucking full-fledged scared of him. Yeah, he's met the one. It's like that Joker thing. Like Batman finally met the one person he doesn't understand. You know, it's like this guy is literally like going to die at any moment, and he doesn't care.
He doesn't.
He literally doesn't value his own life. It really is.
When you've got chaos, is when you've got, in that sense, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
What can you do to beat me? You can't do anything to touch me. You can't. I'm going to die.
And when you have that level of confidence and the world doesn't know, they just think that you're that fucking sick that you're not afraid of death. Like Doc's going into this with the mindset of I'm going to die soon. I am exactly what you guys said. He has nothing to lose here. He's going in with full confidence or just full nonchalant of give fucks. And he's going in there and whatever happens, man. And we all know that Doc Holliday is quicker.
He's doing it out of love, and he's doing it out of love for his friend. Like that is even more badass.
Yes. And on top of that, Ringo if Ringo tries to back out of this. Because Doc shows up and Doc was like, we had something we left undone. And he's like, well, no, I was just talking shit. I was just fooling about.
I was playing.
Yeah, and if Doc goes, well, I wasn't. And then he's like,
about being blood or
we were supposed to play for blood, remember? And then Ringo is finally like, all right, you're on. Let's do it. But he's clearly scared.
I'm not getting the rules here on this one though, because they're dancing around like they're going to have a duel. So that's when you draw swords. But it's like, I'm thinking,
Here's interesting.
Craig, I've always been confused about this. You're absolutely right, and I just let it go.
They're normally like
Because they
they're doing that, but they're like,
Because if you draw swords,
you think
then
it's
you can-
you think it would be something like I know what you're thinking. You think it would be something where you have like this 10-step thing and then
Steps,
turn around like a proper duel
like
would
a
be or
proper
something.
Western fucking thing.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's
but
the thing wasn't about
it's like a dance, but it's
the thing about it for me wasn't that they were facing each other and they didn't really have like a signal to go off. It was how close they were. They were literally like 10 feet from each other, like maybe not even. They were that close to each other.
Yeah, like if he tried to pull a pistol, he's like just kick it out of his hand and then just jump on him. You know, you could get the jump on him while he's trying to pull his pistol. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
But it looks good.
What ends up happening?
So finally when it kicks off, Doc is the quicker draw, of course, and shoots him in the head. But apparently that doesn't kill people back then.
No, it's plenty of people get shot in the head and it doesn't.
When he got shot in the head, and then he's like fucked up in the head, and he's like walking.
Oh yeah.
Like I was legitimately, you see the blood just like pouring out of the one spot, and it said great prosthetics on that part, dude. But when he's just like walking forward and he's out of it, and I'm just like, this is
well, yeah, because he just pierced his brain.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying, like, we expect instant death, but he's still fucking like clinging on to whatever brain power is still maneuvering.
Right, it's not an instant death. But have you not seen the guy who got the rail spike through his?
Yeah.
Most
I think that was like
someone getting shot in the head will fucking die, but there's some rare occurrences.
There's so many. There are a lot of instances, so it's not out of the realm. It's not like, well, this is stupid.
Yeah,
it's just like, wow, you just didn't expect it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Me,
it was uncomfortable though. That was the gruesome scene I was talking about earlier. It was just weird to watch. That shit was uncomfortable, but it was also Doc Holliday, so it's cool.
I thought the most uncomfortable part of the scene wasn't even that. I thought it was he shoots him in the head, and he shoots him in the head, and then he's doing the twitching thing like Quentin says, and as he's dying, Doc Holliday is still talking shit to him on the way out.
Yeah.
Johnny, you ain't no Daisy. You ain't no Daisy. And it's so dark. He's talking. He literally just shot him in the head. His brain is fried. He's walking around like a drunk crab, and he's about to go out in 5 to 10 seconds. And he's talking shit to him on the way out. Like, dude, fuck you. I got you, you piece of shit.
Right, but a drunk crab just not walk forwards and backwards then.
Oh, like Carl Pilkington said, yeah.
I wasn't thinking that, but I was just thinking a drunk crab was forwards and backwards.
Well, that's
But he's got the badge on, because that's what Doc left him, and he says, it's I'm the law now," and he's like, even though he wasn't, he just wanted to, something for himself, and that's right before the kickoff, and that's when your boy comes in.
Yeah. That's when Doc comes. No, not Doc. Wyatt Earp comes in and sees what he's done. He says,
he says, like, you haven't got this. Have you got the line?
String. I think the string was more than he could bear. Something like that. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's more you can stomach, but it's something.
Yeah.
That's much more poetic what you said, and I think that's exactly what you said.
And that's when they decide to go on their last ride to eliminate the rest of the Cowboys. And
this is so badass.
There's both of those action sequences are awesome, but there's still some Muppetry in there because did you notice the one where he's hanging on the side of the horse
and then he sits around it and pops him in the head?
There's no way you hit him with that.
The thing is, there's no context to this at all. All of a sudden,
they're in battle.
And all of a sudden, they're just gunfighting in the middle of like Arizona, in the plains of Arizona.
I thought that because I was driving when I was watching that part, and I was like, "Did I miss something here? Or did we just jump to in battle?" I'm so happy
we just
basically.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's like a fast 2-minute action sequence to wrap up the movie, pretty much.
Like when
the
I watched
was
it,
fucking beautiful, man.
I literally cut back and went, "Oh, it was supposed to." Like, I'm not kidding. I cut back. Oh, it's supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
But the one part in the particular where I literally went, fuck off. There's no way you're hitting him. He's riding on the side of the horse, and there's a, I can't remember if it's either, I think it's Wyatt Earp who's riding on the side of her horse. And then there's a cowboy riding along near him, like to the side. They're both going in the same direction, but the cowboy's like, where'd he go? And then you see a gun come from under the horse's neck and shoot. And then it hits the guy. It hits the cowboy, drops him. And I'm like, there's no way you would hit him with just that perfect shot like that.
Unless you're
But anyway,
in Tombstone.
unless you're Kurt. Okay, yes, you're right.
Little do we know the actual real history is that shot happened. He did that shit.
No.
And it was actually Kurt Russell that did it.
It was actually Kurt Russell. He time traveled.
Time-traveling Kurt
Due
Russell.
to Elon Musk's time machine that he invented in 1950.
Quentin, dude, this is another recurring theme here. Quentin is still trying to get us back.
No, that wasn't a real attempt. I'll get you, but I can't do it in a Tombstone movie that involves Elon Musk. That won't happen.
I can go back on that. It was actual Doc Holliday when, actually, I forgot, I'm Marty McFly. I have an actual time machine. Let's do this. If you know your films, Michael J. Fox was in a film called Doc
Part
Holliday.
3?
No, Doc Holliday.
Oh, he was. Oh no,
Yeah.
I didn't know that actually.
He played at the very least. He was.
It can't be good.
Doc Holliday.
It can't be good.
I think I've seen it, but
I've never even heard of this.
Okay, who's going to go? Quentin's going for it.
Yeah, I can't believe
Doc
that
Holliday,
either.
Marty
Doc
J.
My
Holliday.
darling Clementine.
No,
That's probably it.
No, it's
Doc Holliday, 2023.
no. This is old Michael
This
J.
is
Fox
like
film.
Michael J. Fox, like 80s.
What movie? What are we talking about?
It's called Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday, Michael J. Fox.
God damn, I hope I'm fucking right on this. Otherwise, I'm.
Bro, I think you're
real
fucked.
Craig's-
Oh,
Craig's
it's called
making-
Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood.
Oh, fuck!
It's
Yeah.
not Doc Holliday. Okay.
That's crazy.
Craig's making
A
shit.
young
up.
doctor on his way across the country to do a job interview
Shut
as he
the
crashes
fuck
his
up.
car into a small town. and
Quentin,
is sentenced to
we don't
work
need to
for
talk about
several
this. We
days
need to move
into
on
the
quickly,
town
quickly,
hospital.
Put it behind quickly. It's let's move on. Behind, let's move
All
on.
right.
Let's go to the next scene.
So, well, there's not really many scenes we needed really touch
That's
on.
yeah.
Much,
we could jump to
We could
reviews
do
if
the
you're down.
shootout. We could do the shootout at the creek where it's like, we could
That's-
do that.
yeah.
Oh God, we're gonna miss the no.
Yeah, we did miss the no, but
Well, no, that was the creek. No.
yeah, no.
No.
My favorite
one
part
of
of
the
that
best.
is again. I just think this is a fucking
That's
dark
the one
comedy
that
at times.
sticks in my head
But-
out of anything.
They're shooting at him, and like Quentin said earlier, he's Curly Bill is up by that tree, and he's like Wyatt, how the hell are you? As they're getting shot
That
at.
scene, dude, is so fun.
Got your little crossbar. How do you like that? And then a bullet like explodes part of the tree next to him, and he's just like,
The maniacal laugh is what does it, dude.
If you're that
Yeah.
kind of mental though, that is you would laugh at that though. If you,
Yeah.
yeah.
like, if you kind of like put yourself in that. Yeah.
I mean, he's living his days like he doesn't give a fuck what happens. If he's walking out in the street and shooting, bullets at the moon, this guy's
he's
already
expected to
fucked.
die every day of the week.
Yeah,
This guy is
100%.
like-
There's no. This guy cares nothing for life besides
Yeah.
his pleasures.
Even his own, he doesn't give a shit
Yeah.
about that. It's just
Doc Holliday dying in the place in Colorado and the exchange with
the sanatorium.
If there's one scene in there where you like have the potential to get pretty emotional, it's that one.
Yeah.
Because it's the
I told you not to come back.
well, it's like it's
He's
Doc
trying to play
Holliday.
cards with him.
Yeah, and he says I don't want to play anymore, but he basically just begs him like, look, forget about
Just
me.
look-
I'm dead.
Remember me as I was,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
as how I am now.
Yeah.
That's
And
kind
he
of
tells him to go get the girl. What are you doing?
He
talking
still
to my
wins.
dead
He
ass?
still wins the hand, by the way.
Yes, he does. Yeah. But he tells him the gist of it is
Yeah.
to
I think
what are you
I think
doing?
that
Talk.
was orchestrated. The hand. I think that's what Wyatt did. I think Wyatt was.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it when he's like, "Oh, look, you won." I mean,
You
yeah.
were, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kinda- but
Then,
then,
it wasn't important, but I thought.
but then he
just a
says,
nice
"What are you
touch of-
doing here? You should go talk to the girl."
Yeah,
Which
he said.
Please.
No, continue.
Go ahead. No,
Your turn,
well,
Keg.
which he does. I'm shutting. Right, I'm turning my
I'm
mic
just gonna
off.
go.
Go ahead,
I'm gonna
Brian.
go this way.
Okay,
Brian,
so
just do
he's
it.
saying, "What are you doing talking to me? Go get the girl right off into the sunset, and go live life." And he finally does, and he says, "Yeah." But before he goes, he says, "Thanks for always being there, Doc." And I think that's the best description of Doc Holliday. He's always there for his friend,
100%.
and he only has one, really, essentially.
Yeah,
And
there's
he's
the
like,
one
that's
scene
that's
where
the
he
guy
says,
who
"I have
agrees
no
to be my
friends."
friend. Yeah, that's a beautiful
Yeah.
scene too.
It is.
Well, the guy says, "Doc, what the hell are you doing out here? You should be in bed." And he's like, "Wyatt Earp is my friend." And he goes, "Hell, I got lots of friends." And he goes, "I don't."
Yeah.
And yeah, he's even though he's this badass, like he's a difficult person to deal with. The only one that really puts up with him is Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt Earp and
Wyatt-
then Kate.
Wyatt
Kate is just a
values
money
that.
grubbing fucking
Well, no, like it's in real life, she like they were a couple, but they left each other like 2 years before the OK Corral.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Like apparently they were together, but they were just really difficult, and they both liked to get drunk. And when they both got drunk, it got real messy. And that was
Yeah.
apparently like there was loads of stories that followed that exact narrative line.
yeah.
But she did exist, so she was just plastered in here to obviously to give it some because everyone had a girl basically. You can't have
Yeah.
Doc Holliday not have a girl, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. Well, I think that woman in real life was like a prostitute that he hung around with.
Probably.
There
But
was
yeah,
a lot of that going on back then.
but yeah, then you got your boy Wyatt. He goes and he goes backstage. You want to talk us through it, mate?
Oh no! I mean, he goes backstage, gets the girl, and they basically agree to
Go
have
for a
room
dance
service
in
for
the
the rest of their life, and the
Yeah.
movie's over.
The
It's a
movie's over.
nice happy ending.
The narrator says the Red Slash Cowboy gang was broken forever. Ike Clayton was shot and killed 2 years later. Maddie died of a drug overdose shortly after she left Tombstone. Virgil and Allie Earp moved to California. Virgil became the town sheriff despite of only having one arm.
One arm.
Wyatt and Josephine had a series of adventures. Wyatt Earp died in Los Angeles in 1929.
29.
Imagine seeing Los
literally-
Angeles in 1929.
He doesn't say
I imagine
that.
there'd be a hell of a lot less fires.
He says Los Angeles. That was one thing I remember on the
Yeah,
end
he
of the
does.
film. He goes
Los
Los
Angeles.
Angeles in
Los
1929.
All right, let's do ratings. Craig, hit us.
It's better than I remembered because when I saw it, I said it was years and years ago. Cast is fantastic. The charisma of you two. Let's call them the two leads. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Off the charts. Their charisma is on absolute 10. Having Sam Elliott in there, absolute must. Of course, you got to have him in there. He raises it up at least by 8 or 9. I'm going to give it a solid 8. The fact that I would think I just would move if I lived there. Now, granted, I didn't know that.
Maybe get the fuck out of town.
I like how he's like actually thinking about what would I do in a situation like this?
Yeah,
right.
Around all these crazy people, I'd get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, well, we did talk about this a little bit off camera, and it's like just everyone's just in a bad mood. Well, yeah, you know, oh, well, I'm sorry about that. Like,
I think everyone's just drunk and gambling and having
stick
a
it up
great
your
time.
goddamn fucking ass. Like, dude, and he's got a gun. Like, he's twitching at his gun. I'm like, mate, I hope you get shot today because I don't have to fucking deal with you. You know, like, he's to say sorry to someone who's like, but that's my obviously I'm not got the mentality of that. But oh my god, the cast is fucking eight. No, fuck it. No, I've got to get him an 8.5 because that cast is too good. There's no way I can't give it less than that. That cast is too damn good.
All right.
And the cast isn't worth 0.5. There's a lot of that, but just
The cast alone is a 15 out of 10.
Easily.
The cast is incredible.
Yeah. How
about you, Quintano?
Give it a go, man. Cast that we all have talked about throughout the entirety of this film has been top notch. The guest appearances from Billy Bob Thornton, from Yondu, from Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone's face who pops up, something that they have been in. Brian said at the start of this that most of these actors are multimillionaires now. It wasn't just a one-time appearance in this movie. They have gone on to do great careers with their lives. It's just a testament to what this film was able to kind of breed. The film story was great. I loved the music throughout the movie. I could have used a little bit of the less of the romance. They didn't throw a lot at you, truthfully, but I love this movie for everything that it was. Val Kilmer, to me, was fucking fantastic. I referenced him to be in Bond earlier in this podcast, just with some of his quick lines, but he was just so cool. His character was funny as fuck, and top tier. Kurt Russell being the other lead here is, I think, what we're going with, and he's fantastic. This whole movie had great action. The unlimited glitch of infinite ammo is just a small knockoff for me. I had such a great time watching this movie. Everyone is, you hear Tombstone be brought up in American culture, especially throughout my life. I'm 26 years old and I just had never seen it. So I am so happy that I have finally watched this movie. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I had a fucking great time with this movie. I'll probably end up watching it again tomorrow when I'm not driving home from work.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's
one of those movies.
Fall asleep.
Yeah. I've seen this movie like 100 times, Quentin. So
good.
Watch it 99 more, man. It's fun.
The rewatchability, the replayability with this movie is fucking up there. I would love to see some numbers for the home release on this. It's weird that it's not out there. But yeah, man, it's also weird that we don't even know who the fuck the real director was. But either way, it's a great movie, and I had a great time.
It's one of those situations where, like, this movie could have been absolute trash.
Yeah.
But because they all came together and they're like, look, we're here, let's get it done. And it turned out.
3 editors too.
Yeah.
Like what?
Some of these some movies have situations like that where you think it's going to be all signs point to it's going to be a disaster. Like
one thing I would
was that way.
Yeah.
One
thing I would have changed just real quick before I hop off of the review aspect of it. Whatever editor was in charge of the cutting scenes super fast in the gun battles, not my favorite, but that's just me. I'm sure back then there was a lot less tricks that they could have done, but like some battle scenes, like Craig had mentioned earlier, it's just like after the OK Corral, it's like, all right, we jump to this. Now Kurt Russell's in the battle. He's wearing one outfit, and from what I remember, he was in a different outfit, now on a horse, turning around, shooting cowboys, but still, once again, very small things. 9 out of 10. Fucking loved it. Had a blast.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is my.
Do you need to say it? Do you need to say it?
Do I need to say what?
Are you?
Well, it's your
what we think we're gonna. What we think you're gonna give it.
What you think? What do you think? What does Craig? What does Craig? I'm pointing the wrong way. What does Craig think that I'm going to do?
Oh my god, I got it right. I'm pointing at you. What do I think y'all gonna give it?
Yeah.
Probably 11 out of 10.
Is he gonna go? No, Meltzer.
And he's absolutely right because I'm going fucking Meltzer!
You go
For the first time, somebody went Meltzer!
He's going Meltzer!
11 out of 10!
Oh, we've done it. We've done it. Oh my god!
First Meltzer on the channel for 2.
I was thinking. I was thinking before we even started. I was like, if I was being like serious, I'd probably give it like 8, 9, maybe even a 10. But I was like, fuck that. This is one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I'm going Meltzer. So it's just it, dude. You watch this you watch this movie for one main reason, and that's to fucking watch Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. This movie is the best example I can give as to why I don't put any much weight at all, if any at all, behind the Oscars. Because not only was he didn't win an Oscar for this role, he wasn't even fucking nominated. And a performance like
we've
this,
said that a few times on this.
yes. And
Like-
if you have a performance like this, where it's literally like a generational performance that everybody remembers and everybody loves, and you don't even get the courtesy of even being nominated, then whatever award the show that is can, they can suck a dick.
Facts.
Quintana, can you check what Oscar noms it got?
Let's see it.
I don't think it got any. Could be wrong though.
You've got to be kidding me. For cinema, for the costume, like the costume design, at least. Jesus.
Maybe.
They actually all wore like wool outfits. The first in its class series is a case for why Val Kilmer deserved the Best Supporting Oscar nomination. 0 award nominations. I don't
0.
think they got
It's gotta
any.
be- That's. Oh right, hang on. What is 93 that are? Come on, 93. It's
What movies
Nice.
came out then?
Schindler's List.
I got it right now.
Schindler's List, Jurassic Park.
Schindler's List and Jurassic
Nomadland
Park,
won the 93rd Academy Award for Best Picture.
Nomadland?
1990.
I never even heard of that. What is that?
Unforgiven. 1993.
Oh, that's a Western. With
Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman,
Morgan Freeman.
Oh my
and
god, they're
Richard
going up
Harris.
against another.
Damn,
going up
that's
in a bloody-
crazy. And of course, Clint Eastwood. It's your title. That's what fucked it all up, Craig. Is your title Clint Eastwood? You and your time machine, you bastard.
Do you know what? I nearly put some. Billy the Kid. I wish I
Should have just
that
put
down.
Huckleberry.
I should put
Best
Huckleberry Hound.
Picture.
Huckleberry Hound would have been-
Oh, that's a rough year.
Go on.
Best Picture Oscar nominees for 1993.
It's
We have a Few
Jurassic
Good
Park.
Men. Few Good Men.
Holy
That's-
shit!
That's crazy. Unforgiven, which I haven't seen, which I must now watch. The Crying Game, I don't know. Sensible Woman, and then Howard's End.
I would, Jesus.
A Few Good Men, though, is fucking love it.
Quentin, do not
Yeah.
watch The Crying Game.
Don't watch it.
Don't.
Sounds depressing.
Comment section. Tell him why.
The Crying Game. I
what
haven't
the
seen The
fuck?
Crying Game either, so I don't even know what you're
Forrest Whitaker.
talking about.
We could talk about it later.
I recognize like none of the cast besides Forrest.
No, dude, you're not gonna get anything from it. Don't. Just,
Okay.
I know, but it didn't get nominated at all because the costume design I thought was fantastic. I thought the setting design, and one thing you always do the preamble with everyone who made it. This location. So I don't know what the title is, but whoever finds out the locations for the actual, they did a fucking fantastic job. Just finding those places. It's got. I mean, if it wasn't Arizona, it's got to be in Utah, somewhere like that. And
Yeah.
they did an absolutely fantastic job. The setting designers for creating towns. That looked more authentic than everyone wearing absolutely pristine, brand new clothes, except the Cowboys that look like rough as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Curly Bill, who's magnificent red shirt.
Yeah.
Always had a different neckerchief for every day. I was like, how big
Yeah.
is this? Like, your carriage of clothes that you're taking around everywhere. That was a bit crazy, but it was an absolute charisma laid film.
Wonderful.
Have any of you guys ever seen the Kevin Costner one?
No.
I may have done, but if I did, it would have been way back when, because I know of it. As soon as when you said that and I said you heard the name, I was like, oh god, yeah.
It's because I think when
But
you went,
I mentioned like I knew there was a load of films that came out,
yeah,
and the only thing that really rung out to me for obvious reasons, to if you two know me, was the one with the Bon Jovi song, because of the Bon Jovi song.
yeah,
Young Gun.
Dead or Alive?
No, this yeah, I think it's called Blaze of Glory.
Oh.
yeah.
Um,
The Kevin Costner one is I think it's like longer. I think it's closer to 3 hours, but I think it's worth a watch. But when I think of comparisons to it, and like, because it's not a bad movie, it's just not fucking
what would you
great
rather
like
spend
this
your
one
time
is.
doing?
To watch Tombstone by far. But I'm trying to think if there's any part of that Kevin Costner movie where it's better than
I mean, for his
Tombstone, and I think maybe it's the love story between Wyatt Earp and
Well, that and then the historical
what's-
accuracy. So I
yeah.
looked up why the ending, or I'm sorry, why
the
they
girl
got
that
split up.
plays his love interest in the Kevin Costner one is a smoke show, by the way, too.
Let me see. You know I'm all about that.
I can't remember her name.
I'm looking.
I bet you are, you little horn dog.
Dude, I'm not. Joanna Going?
I can't remember her name.
Is she blonde?
Not in
Sorry,
the
I'm
movie.
yelling into the fucking mic again.
Yeah, not in the movie.
What's his wife's name? Oh, right here. Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara. Yeah.
That's
the mum from Home Alone.
What are you doing, Quinn?
I'm telling you, you're talking
Kevin
about the Kevin Costner white yeah.
Wyatt
Sure.
Earp
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah,
1994.
Yep, that's her.
Joanna Going is the one, not
Well, she doesn't play.
Catherine
his wife.
O'Hara is in the movie, but she's not.
She plays
Wyatt
his
Earp's
wife.
No, she does not. I'm
She
telling you,
plays her
she's not.
wife.
I'm looking at it.
I'm telling you, she's not. It says Earp on her last name, but she's married to Virgil in this movie. I
That makes way more sense.
You did just say she's her wife, by the way, Quentin.
Yeah, I know. Fucking.
I don't think they liked that back then. Y'all.
They did not. No, they didn't. It was one way or the highway.
think. Yeah.
The fact they were in Arkansas. Sorry, they were in Arizona and we're in Alabama.
Yeah, but she plays Josephine in that one, and she looks quite good.
For a Muppet rating, I will give this movie a 7 out of 10. Just because of the unlimited ammo glitch is one of those things you got to knock it down for. I think Kevin Costner's character was way too clean, but at the same time, there's an argument. Not Kevin Costner. Fuck me. But his character in the movie, he was way too clean, but at the same time, he was also a lawman at one time, so it would make sense that he was cleaner than the rest of the characters. No, I'll give it just 7 out of 10. Some of the one-liners there that had those James Bond moments in there for me, but it all worked with the film, hence why I gave it a 9 out of 10. Any bit of humor in there was 100% meant to be there, and it was such a big part in making the film so enjoyable. So Muppet rating, I give it like a 7 out of 10. I think the film took itself very seriously, but also had some great humor in there that just helped the overall film through and through, man. So 7 for the Muppet.
Okay. I will give the similar, I guess, 6 out of 10 for the Muppet rating. Pretty much for the same exact reasons you said, Quentin, so I'm not going to add anything on to that. What about you, Craig?
Essentially, same pretty much reasons, but 5 out of 10, because as a Brit, we all know that guns have unlimited ammo, so that didn't factor in. We watch American films. We all know guns have unlimited ammo. And as a sarcastic Brit from a sarcastic fucking nation, yeah, I think all those funny lines were meant to be, biting, piercing, you fucking little wee bastard.
Muppet rating. What do you give it?
No, I'm giving it a 5. Guns are unlimited. As Brits, we all know that's what happens in America. We've seen all the films. We know there's no 6 shooters. Come on. All the funny lines were meant to be there. They were all supposed to be biting. As a Brit, that's how people speak to each other.
Yeah.
You're going to kill each other at the drop of a hat. Yeah, that's exactly you're going to. That's like living in Glasgow, mate. But yeah, Muppet rating is actually low because I know they put a lot of effort into making this look historical. There was a lot of effort into the research. They did what they could to obviously make it tangible as a money spinning film, but it doesn't mean they didn't actually put the effort in. So it's low on the Muppet meter for me, but it was a damn good time.
Nice. Well, that about wraps it up, unless you guys have anything else we want to cover on this wonderful, one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
It was fun, man. That was a good one.
I'm glad Quentin hit it with a 9. I was thinking,
Dude,
I was trying to
wow.
guess before what you were going to rate it, and I was like, he'll probably give it a 7 or an 8.
Nah, dude, that
And he
shit
gave
was
it a
sick.
9.
That was a really fun one, man.
I only got a low rating because I just thought if I moved here, I would go. Do you know what? Let's head.
Greg's like, this place scares me to death.
Well,
These Yankees and their guns.
Oh no, these Cowboys. I know. Right, I say Yankees, but I know Yankees are not New Yorkers. It's like no, it's these Cowboys. Everyone's just on edge, and I hate being in places where everyone's on edge because, especially being a big guy, you always get dragged into shit. I didn't walk in and be dragged into shit. I came in to get a meal.
What did you rate it again? Was it a 7 or an 8? Oh no, 8.5.
Yeah.
And you know what I love that you said? You said you gave it a low rating and you gave it an 8.5. That's high.
I gave
the Muppet rating was low.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
My Muppet rating was low. I gave it Muppet 5. But as a film, I gave it an 8. But then because the cast is wow, to pull that together and get the film out they got, give it an 8.5. I think I'm the most generous one out of my ratings. I'll give it. Brian, did I just?
Sorry, no.
I
Quentin sent me a private message and I just now read it. He probably sent it like an hour ago.
Oh, the one to the right, to the right of the screen.
I've just. Oh.
That's why I yelled, "Cover your face" at that one part.
Well, maybe you should have done that with her.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know how that would have went over. Movie suggestion for next week. I have.
Whose turn is it? I think it's Quentin's turn.
Quentin.
I have two suggestions, and I want you guys to kind of pick out of them.
Okay.
I've got Van Helsing 2004.
Okay.
And I have Blade.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Do I want to watch the?
This is good critic, bad critic. I went Blade because I like Blade way more.
But
I'm completely changing my answer because this is good critic, bad critic. Van Helsing.
What do you think,
See,
Brian?
here's the thing. I like Blade more also, but the satisfaction that your eyes get from seeing the women in Van Helsing, it's just it's so tempting. So
let's do Van Helsing.
Let's do Van Helsing because Van Helsing is. I don't consider it to be really a good movie.
It's so great. It's one of my favorite soundtracks on earth too. It plays a big part into it. Yeah.
It was Hugh Jackman, wasn't it? This was Hugh.
Hugh Jackman. What the fuck?
Was it Anthony?
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate was in it. Yeah.
And then you have the little guy who plays. Oh my god.
Kate Beckett, if she wasn't in a vampire or werewolf movie.
Richard Roxburgh. Oh no, I'm sorry, David Wenham.
Oh yeah,
he plays
Faramir. He's Faramir.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Faramir.
Faramir. Yeah.
So he plays Van Helsing's little assistant, and he's fantastic.
He's also
It
in
was
300.
300.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was,
Yes, he is.
going to say. Yeah.
But my favorite Dracula that I've seen on screen as well. So I'm super stoked for that, man.
Well, you know,
Let's do it.
You guys are
Mine's
gonna
gonna
fucking
be
hate the
Gary
film, and
Oldman.
I'm gonna love it. I'll be the good critic.
I've seen this film, dude. I've seen
Yeah,
this film.
it's a blast.
So let's get into it. Let's do it to it.
Yeah,
The best
definitely.
werewolf in cinema history.
Yeah. All right. Anything
All right,
else you guys want to cover?
Sorry. No, that's it.
Yeah, but Brian's seen American Werewolf in London, so you coming up with that shit next week's gonna be fucking good.
The best visually appealing werewolf. We'll talk
Yeah,
about it next week.
Wait, you said
I'm fine.
you want the film after that to be American Werewolf in London?
No, yeah, I'm saying you've seen American. He said the best werewolf in cinema history, and I said, well, Brian's seen American Werewolf in London.
That one was pretty good.
What did?
The transformation.
Oh, yeah. I see it.
Well, who did Quentin say is the best werewolf of all time?
The one on Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. It's like between that and Underworld, the Lycans. The Lycans and like Van Helsing go hand in hand for me. Granted, like Underworld uses some good practical effects. Van Helsing's a CGI. So obviously we're all suckers for practical effects. We'll get into all that next week because I'm sure we could talk about that for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
All
well.
right.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you guys for you beautiful people that have all tuned in and listened to us rant. And
Yeah. Especially Joe Thornhill.
Go if he's still here.
Thank you,
If
yeah.
he's
Jordan.
still here. If you're still here, write a comment saying I'm still here. We will
see
heart
it.
for
We
you.
will all see it.
We will see it.
We'll all like it.
Yes. All right, we're out of here. Good critic, bad critic. Another shit show. Let's get out of here while we still can. Peace out.